What's going down? What's going down? Let me go ahead. I'm sending out all the tweets. If you guys want to go ahead and tweet, share, all that good jazz. Let everybody know. You dig? That we are live, baby. That we are live, baby. Did I just use the wrong? Why is it got? That's not the right. Oh, it just hasn't updated yet. That's why. It's just using the background. I got it. I got it. I just got to share. What up, John? What up, Brian? What's going down, everybody? Let me just go ahead and share one last place to IG real quick. And we are litty. Story. Boom. Add the link. Boom. All right, we lit. We are lit. Live chat is up. What up, left-handed handyman's art projects? Wow, my high been the second since I called you or caught you live. Wait, since I called a live from you. Oh, I'm pretty sure you're trying to say caught alive. Shout out to you. Appreciate you for making it. Shout out to everybody else out there. You know what I'm saying? What up, David? What's going down? Gang. So let's go ahead and give a big shout out to all the members real quick. And let's jump into this video, man. I got this. I saw this crazy title. We got a new channel that we've been watching some videos from. We did, I think, 1 or 2 videos on the last live called like Miseries. What is it? The Misery Machine. Crazy story videos, kind of like some Mr. Ballin style stuff. So yeah, I really was like, yo, they got some crazy stories. We're gonna watch some of them. But yeah, before we jump into that though, let's give a big shout out to all the members real quick. We got Happy Chick, Wild Turkey, Jamal, Netcoast, Lynn Willow, Kara, Epic, Driver Thighs, Misty Summers, Ryan Park, Sam, Glover, Keith, Manly, Funny Farm, Holla Girl, Taylor, Marla, Diesel, Nick, Crazy Insane, Nicole, Aaron, Mama Dukes, Robin Lynn, Amy Jane Doe, Liz, Nugget, and Nugget, My Hood Life, and Gary Willis. Gang. You dig what I'm saying? There we go. That took me a second to get that out. But shout out to them, man. If you guys want to get a shout out in all the videos, all the lives, all that good jazz, think about hitting that join button down below. If not, please make sure you are subscribed. You have that bell notification set to all notifications because there's no excuses. It's free 99 to subscribe and make sure that the bell is on all notifications. So I beg you, please. I need your help. We're trying to hit 100K. One day we're going to hit that shit. I mean, someday, I don't know when, but someday we going to hit that shit. Anyway, this video is called Her Parents Let Her Melt Through the Couch. Again, shout out to the Misery Machine for this video. And let's make sure everything's turned up. Everything is turned up. Everything is good. Roll up, do what you got to do, spark up, you know what I'm saying? I got me a little bit of tea. I got me a little bit of that drink, you know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? I'll just throw a little, you know what I'm saying? I'll just show y'all a little bit of that, you know what I mean? A little bit. I'm over here just looking at this phone, but the camera's right there. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump in.
This case was so horrific. The coroner and the sheriff's office initially investigated this case in January, and the conditions that she was found were just unbelievable.
One can only imagine, like, she's suffering.
And you don't treat anybody or any animals like that.
Lacey Ellen Fletcher grew up in a small Louisiana town called Slaughter, located about 30 minutes north of the state's capital of Baton Rouge. Now, when I say small, I mean really small. Slaughter boasts a population of less than 1,000 residents per the 2020 census. This is the type of place where everybody knows everybody and everyone else's business, or so you'd think. So when Lacey Fletcher went
awful
missing
sounding.
for 15 years, some neighbors had questions, but tragically never took it any further.
Lacey was the daughter of Clay.
Hold up. How the hell does somebody go missing in a place like that and nobody knows nothing though? Like, place is too small for like everybody knows everybody knows what happened. You know what I'm saying? Like everybody heard that one story about old girl that, you know what I'm saying? Like that, like y'all need to start following up on these leads and shit, because I know there's some fucking rumors, there's some speculations. Like there's too many people that have to know what happened to this girl
and
in a
Sheila
place
Fletcher,
that
who were
big.
described as pillars of their community. The family lived a fairly normal, church-going, middle-class life. When Lacey was 9 years old, the Fletcher family moved into a quaint two-story home along a gravel cul-de-sac where Lacey made friends with the other kids around her age that lived in the neighborhood.
Lacey attended school at the former Brownsville Baptist Academy, where she was described as extremely smart and sweet. She was the type of girl that was very welcoming to newcomers. She was also a member of the school volleyball team and attended worship services at a Baptist church in the nearby town of Zachary.
Lacey also had autism, and at the ages around 14 or 15, she had to be homeschooled due to increasing social anxiety. And as she grew, her neighbors started to notice that she wasn't the same happy or cheerful girl that she used to be, and she wasn't getting as mature as some of her peers.
Lacey enjoyed activities geared towards a much younger audience and became enveloped in a world that involved kids' movies and toys, while her former friends had developed more typical teenage interests such as cars, celebrity news, or dating. Due to their vast disparity in interests, a lot of her former friends sadly moved on, and Lacey was left behind.
The last time Lacey was seen in public was when she was about 21 years of age. Her neighbor, Robert Blades, who was a retired welder, spotted Lacey walking around the neighborhood carrying a small set of weights. She appeared to be physically normal in terms of appearance. She was a thin girl, but she had always been thin, so this wasn't concerning to Robert. In fact, her neighbor had seen her exercising in the roadway on a few occasions, so none of this was out of the ordinary at all.
Now, given how small of a town Slaughter is, it is reasonable to think that Lacey would have been seen again in passing eventually.
Right.
However, Robert Blades never saw Lacey again for a number of years.
What?
And so he questioned her father, Clay Fletcher, about her whereabouts. He asked how Lacey was doing, if she had gone off to college or gotten married or simply moved on from the small town like many before her had.
Right.
Clay advised his neighbor that she was fine and still around, but he quickly changed the subject. With no reason to question her own father on his daughter's safety, Robert Blades took Clay Fletcher at his word. But still years had passed, and he never saw Lacey again. It wasn't until this year, 2022, did the mystery of Lacey Fletcher's whereabouts finally come to a close.
On January 3rd, 2022, around 2 a.m, her mother Sheila called 911 to report that her daughter wasn't breathing. However, sources indicate that there's a possibility that Sheila wasn't calling on her own volition. According to Robert Blades, the neighbor, another unnamed member of their neighborhood had spotted Lacey on the couch in Sheila's home and told her and Clay that they needed to call the police.
The coroner, Dr. Ewell Bickham, was immediately called to the scene after a horrified sheriff's deputy reported back with their findings. What the first responders encountered in the otherwise innocuous home was the stuff of nightmares. Lacey Fletcher, now 36 years old, was dead. Her body was found partially clothed in an ill-fitting blue checkered top, sitting upright and completely covered from head to toe in her own bodily wastes. She was sitting cross-legged, the way most folks do when they want to get comfortable. Her top lip was curled upward, which exposed her teeth. She was infested with insects and covered with insect bites. Her hair had become all knotted and matted. Lacey was essentially fused to the couch.
Whoa, 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 whoa. Shut the... What the fuck? She was fused to the couch. How the fuck do you let a body just decompose in your fucking living room on your fucking couch for like God knows how fucking long because she was decomposing and fusing to the fucking couch? What the fuck? Holy shit. I need a shot. Holy motherfucking holy. I was not ready for that shit. The fuck? Whoa.
In fact, she had been in that position for so long, she had begun to melt through the couch.
While paramedics declared that Lacey had died at the scene, Dr. Bickham determined that she had died 24 to 48 hours earlier due to her state of decomposition. However, due to the condition of her body, it was difficult to tell. Her backside was so black and deformed that you could barely discern what it was.
Wow.
The scene within the living room was so gruesome that even Dr. Bickham, a seasoned coroner, was severely affected by the state that he found Lacey in.
Damn.
It was so bad.
See that just threw your whole 24 to 48 hour fucking theory out the fucking window. If the coroner, the motherfucker who deals with death, was like, like, oh shit. Like, if he was offended, she'd been gone for a long time, bro. Like,
he has been quoted as stating that he could not eat and that he had crying fits for a full week.
Autopsy reports indicated that Lacey's cause of death stemmed from severe medical neglect. This led to chronic malnutrition, acute starvation, immobility, acute ulcer formation, osteomyelitis, which is a bone infection, and this finally resulted in sepsis. She was also reportedly suffering from bacterial infections and tested positive for COVID. She weighed 96 pounds at the time of her death. And evidence led investigators to believe that Lacey had been on the couch for at least 12 years.
Damn.
Lacey's death was officially ruled as homicide due to severe neglect.
But how did Lacey end up like this? Well, according to reports, Lacey suffered from locked-in syndrome, which is a rare neurological disorder in which there is complete system paralysis of all voluntary muscles except for the ones that control the movement of the eyes. Individuals with locked-in syndrome are conscious and awake, but they have no ability to produce movements or to speak. Lacey had essentially become a prisoner inside of her own body and was at the complete mercy of her parents, who had appeared to have chosen to neglect her.
Damn.
In fact, Lacey hadn't seen a doctor in 20 years. When interviewed by police, the Fletchers advised them that they didn't bring their daughter to see a doctor because she did not want to go.
In a strange juxtaposition to the...
She didn't want to go? She didn't have a fucking choice if you made her go. She couldn't fucking fight you back. The fuck you mean?
In which Lacey was found. The Fletcher home was surprisingly neat, aside from the odor. Even the living room that she was found in was a bizarre scene and was not what you'd expect to find outside of what's already been detailed here. Next to the couch was a gray commode and a neatly folded pile of laundry. In front of the couch was a black coffee table which sat bottles of lotion, talcum powder, packs of wipes, nasal spray, and other personal care items. Between the sofa and the coffee table were boxes of DVDs for Lacey to watch. So with all of this in mind, how on earth did Lacey end up in the state in which she was found?
The horror of Lacey's death shook the community of Slaughter, as her parents didn't seem like the type of folks that had it in them to put their daughter through such a hellish existence. Sheila was a police and court clerk in the nearby city of Baker, and more recently an assistant to the city prosecutor in Zachary. She was also on Slaughter's board of aldermen, which you would know as like a city council, and she directly served the mayor.
Wow.
Clay Fletcher was an officer of a nonprofit called the Baton Rouge Civil War Roundtable.
A job doesn't necessarily dictate whether you're a good person or not, so.
However, one of the biggest shockers to the Fletcher's friends and colleagues is that they actually didn't even know that she had a daughter.
On May 2nd, 2022, Hundreds of graphic images of the scene of Lacey's death were shown to a grand jury in nearby Clinton, Louisiana, which was during a closed-door hearing that the press was not allowed to attend. The violent photographs convinced the 12-member committee to charge Sheila and Clay Fletcher with second-degree homicide, which carried a possible sentence of life in prison without the possibility of parole. Shortly after, the two were arrested and released after 36 hours on $300,000 bond each. The two had not been brought to jail prior as they were not deemed a flight risk. Their trial is expected to start in October. As this story is still developing, we'll be sure to keep an eye out for updates as they come out. Sorry about Bean. Well, maybe not so sorry about Bean. I know a lot of you have been asking about how she's been doing here. Let me show you Bean. We talk a lot about harm and neglect inflicted upon minors on this channel. But another form that's not discussed nearly enough is that in which is inflicted upon those with disabilities.
According to the World Health Organization, persons with disabilities make up around 15% of the world's population, and there's 7.9 billion people in this world as of May 2022. Think a little bit about how many 15% is. And also, minors with disabilities are 3 times more likely to be in danger than their peers. There is an approximate 50% increased risk of experiencing harm for adults with mental health conditions.
You want to know what it is? I can almost guarantee you that part of that has to do with the lack of patience that people just have in general. You know what I'm saying? Like, think about how it was when the pandemic hit and schools shut down and us parents who aren't teachers had to become, teachers and teachers assistants and shit. Like, that was hard, bro. I'm not going to sit here and lie and act like that shit was just a walk in the park. It was fucking hard. Because I have 3 different kids, all 3 different grade levels, and they're all in 3 different, stages of understanding and learning. And then on top of that, none of them learn the same as me. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, none of them are understand the subjects the same way that I do. And, and I'm not a teacher, nor do I have the skills that teachers have. I'd say majority of teachers, because some teachers, do suck, but majority of teachers have the skills to be patient, right? And they have the skill to not only be patient, but to identify the different styles of learning, right? Like, when you were taught the styles of learning, most cases, you were just kind of looking at it from a selfish perspective of like, well, shit, what's the best way for me to learn? You know what I mean? You weren't looking at it from a perspective of what's the best way for me to teach somebody to fucking learn. Like, you know what I mean? I never did that until I was faced with the fucking problem in the scenario in my own goddamn house. And I was like, God damn, this is hard. So yeah, I can only imagine what it's like to be a parent that has to be overly patient or more patient than the average parent, right? Because of special needs. And that's where I can almost see where there's just a lot more people who can't learn to be patient enough to deal with their disability or their child with a disability than ones who are. And in return, you probably, get a lot of frustrated parents taking that frustration taking it out on their kids when they shouldn't be. So I know that was really deep. It was really deep. I know that was really, really, really deep. But yeah, anyways, let's go.
Daughter Bean, stop it.
Can you hold her? Persons with disabilities are attractive to predators as they may not have the resources and abilities to escape the situation or communicate the occurrences to those that could help them. Those who are hard of hearing or deaf are placed at twice the risk for neglect and emotional harm in comparison to other disabilities, and nearly 4 times in regards to physical harm. This type of harm can also manifest itself financially, with predators stealing benefits from the disabled party. We see this most commonly with elderly people, but it does happen to the disabled as well. In Lacey's case, she had been essentially cut off from her peers in her mid-teens and homeschooled. And as her disabilities became more dire, her parents didn't seek out proper medical care for their daughter despite having the resources and positions within the community to obtain the care she so desperately needed.
Yeah, that is weird.
Suffering from locked-in syndrome, Lacey could not advocate for herself, care for herself, nor could she escape the prison that she ultimately succumbed in. We talk a lot
Which is
about
her own
minors
body,
and how
which is
CPS
crazy.
fails them on this channel, and we will never stop doing so. But have you ever stopped to think about how many adults and elders with disabilities might be out there suffering in conditions similar to Lacey and being taken advantage of in ways that nobody would even know about?
What do you, the listener, think would be an appropriate sentence for Sheila and Clay Fletcher? Do
I
you agree with the
mean,
charge of second-degree homicide, or should it be something stronger? Do you think that they knowingly caused their daughter to die because they no longer wanted to deal with her?
I don't think that it was that. I think that it was just a lack of patience, empathy. Like, you know what I'm saying? I definitely think that life, like, you know what? Y'all should go sit down. You know what I mean? Y'all only got maybe 15, 20 left. Like, we're gonna go ahead and get y'all like 50, 60 each and call it a day. You know what I mean? And yeah, because I don't feel like it's hard. You know what I'm saying? Like, that's a hard one because neglect is neglect no matter how you look at it, and it's not anything that any child should have to go through. But again, like, I don't know what it would be like to be a parent of a child with disabilities. I don't know how hard that would be, and what broke these people, you know what I mean? But I definitely do think that they need to be fucking sentenced, and they need to spend the rest of their lives in jail. That, I think, is non-negotiable at this point. But you know what I mean? That's non-negotiable. Fuck
Do you
them.
think they made a
But
series of horrific mistakes?
it is
What kind of
crazy.
sentence would you
That's a
give them
crazy-
if
that's
you
just
were
a
the
crazy
judge?
scenario,
At
bro.
the end of
It's
the day,
nuts.
what we do know is that Lacey did not deserve
She
any
didn't,
of this.
and that's why I
She
said they
deserved
need
to
to
be
die
loved, to be
in
cared
jail.
for, to be kept clean and healthy and comfortable. As it stands right now,
Agreed.
it looks like her parents failed miserably.
Facts.
I wanted to apologize last week for the amount of flubs and misspeaks that we did. It was a very trying week, almost losing Prada. A lot of you know this. They saw our community post on the channel. Prada, just really quickly, Prada went through a medical emergency. She's back home with us now, as you may have heard earlier. But it was very tough. You can read more about it in our GoFundMe, which is linked below. And
this is an
I know
older
times
video
are tough
too,
right
so their
now.
cat
If there's
is cool,
anything you
if
can
y'all are
spare, or
curious.
if you can share our GoFundMe around to help with
pretty sure
Prada's
anyway.
care,
This is
we
an old
would
video. This is like a
greatly
year ago.
appreciate it. We just lost Chitin 2 months ago, and
6 months
it
ago,
would
I think.
be devastating to lose Bean. We want her around for many more years to keep being mouthy while we record.
And to those who have donated already, shared it, offered kind words, offered advice for diabetic cats, thank you so much.
Oh, it's
That's
a diabetic
completely
cat.
valuable
Well, shout out to-
information.
whoa,
We're
whoa,
really, really
whoa,
new
whoa.
to this.
I don't wanna
I
start
didn't
it.
know what we were getting into.
Shout
Obviously,
out to
I would
them and
do
their cat. I'm not a big cat fan, but shout out to them and their cat. I don't wish no harm on any animal, so I'm glad that their cat is okay. But yeah, moving on. The next video, there was another one I wanted to see that you guys suggested this last time that was fucking nasty as crazy. Death by lice. This shit is wild to me. Like, the idea that you can die from something is just like, in my opinion, as minuscule as lice is like so crazy. Like, like kids go to school, there's always that one random ass kid that's fucking got lice and spreads it to people. You know what I'm saying? Like, my girls have had their fair share of lice scares and shit, and they've even, I think all three of them, even and Renee, have all gotten lice once or twice too, in the past like 10 years or whatever. Well, yeah, because my oldest daughter is 11. So in the last 11 years, there's been, I think, a lice for real in our house once, because one of the girls got it from someone at school or some shit. And then I think there was a scare one time too. But it's, this sucks. It takes a long time to sit there and brush through the hair and get all the stupid little fucking eggs out and all the washing and, you know what I'm saying? All the bullshit. It sucks. But it's something that, if taken care of and taken seriously, once it's discovered, you can get rid of lice fairly easily, right? Like, it's not something that you should just be like, oh yeah, like, it's best to fucking kill you. Like, it's not, you know what I mean? Like, that's such a crazy, I'm sorry. That shit's just nuts. Like, the title of this is fucking wild. Let's just full screen this shit and go. because you have to be a
The 9-year-old
evil-ass
girl died
person
behind
to
the walls
fucking
of
let
this
this
gated
happen.
community.
Evil.
Her name has not been released. After 911 was called, first responders reported a large amount of bugs began to cover her face. Upon closer inspection, it was discovered there was an enormous amount of lice in her hair. The lice may figure into why the girl did not receive medical care in time to save her.
That is so
On Tuesday,
gross,
March
bro.
22nd, 2022, firefighters responded
Hold on,
to
what did that say? The little girl.
On Tuesday, March 22nd,
Oh, the little girl's
2022,
name is not being
firefighters
released.
responded to a call regarding
a
an
minor.
unresponsive 9-year-old girl at the Lakeside Casitas Apartments, which is a gated community located at 8250 East Gulf Links Road in Tucson, Arizona. Despite the implementation of life-saving efforts, first responders were unable to resuscitate the little girl, and she was pronounced dead. Police officers were contacted soon thereafter.
According to police records, after first responders pronounced the little girl dead, a large amount of bugs began to cover her face, which turned out to be head lice. Upon closer inspection, it was noted that she had a severe infestation of head lice all throughout her hair. It should be noted that given the little girl's age and the recency of these events, her name has not been made public at the time of this recording. And today we're recording on July 11th, 2022.
Now, just in case anyone watching is not familiar, head lice are tiny insects that feed on blood from the human scalp. And those most commonly affected are school-aged kids.
Right, like
The
I said
insects are
earlier.
usually spread through direct transfer from the hair of one person to the hair of another, often within a family or among kids who have close contact at school or during play.
While not as common, lice can spread from one person to another through personal care items and outerwear such as hats, scarves, brushes, combs, or towels. Head lice may also spread when items of clothing are stored together. For example, hats or scarves hung on the same hook or stored in the same school locker could serve as vehicles for spreading lice.
Having head lice isn't necessarily a sign of poor personal hygiene or an unclean living
At all.
environment, and quite
Shit just
literally
happens,
anybody
like I
can
said,
catch
like-
them. Lice happens, and it's nothing to be embarrassed about. In fact, an estimated 6 million to 12 million infestations occur each year in the United States among kids 3 to 11 years of age. However, while on the scene, officers did have some concerns about the living conditions within the home and the welfare of the other two kids, aged 11 and 13, living within the apartment, who were also suffering from severe infestations themselves. Officers also noted that the apartment was dirty and in a general state of disarray.
One of the older kids advised officers that their mother, 38-year-old Sandra Krajkovic, attempted to treat the head lice with mouthwash. According to the Mayo
What?
Clinic, prescription and non-prescription medication can be helpful for treating head lice, as long as you follow the treatment instructions carefully to rid the scalp of lice and all of their eggs. People also use a number of home or natural remedies to get rid of head lice, such as coconut or olive oil with essential oils, apple cider vinegar, enzyme-based soaps, diatomaceous earth, among others, but there is little to no clinical evidence that they're effective.
In the case of Sandra Krajkovic, she wasn't too far off, as mouthwash can be used as a somewhat effective home remedy. In fact, Listerine is considered the most effective home remedy for head lice because it contains 26.9% alcohol, eucalyptol, thymol, menthol, and menthol salicylate, which are not only probably toxic to lice, but it probably doesn't feel great in your eyes or on an open sore caused by the lice. However,
Right.
there's no information available with regards to whether or not Sandra was using Listerine specifically. Additionally, due to the sheer infestation at the Krajkovic household, it is very unlikely that simply using mouthwash as a home remedy would have even put a dent in the head lice problem, and really just
Right.
don't do it.
Like,
Sandra and her mother
the reality is like, even to sit here and be like, oh yeah, we got all these fucking home remedies. Like, you could, like, they make fucking lice shampoos and fucking products. Like, they make kits that are specifically meant for fucking ridding your hair of lice, bro. Like, it makes no sense. Like, he even said it, like, follow the instructions of the, products or whatever, like the little kits that you can get, and boom. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's just so fucking so wild to me. Like, that's so
64-year-old
crazy.
Elizabeth
You have to just be,
Kraikovich
like,
were
just a
ultimately
shitty
arrested
person.
and charged with felony
That makes my head
CA.
itch.
However, those charges were upgraded to first-degree homicide as
Good.
investigations into the death of the little girl
Good.
continued. Sandra's other 2 kids were placed in the custody of family members. In an interview with the police, Sandra reportedly said that her daughter suffered from anemia and had been ill since approximately March 15th, with symptoms that included headache, sore throat, fever, difficulty breathing, and trouble keeping her balance. The mother said she had considered taking her daughter to the emergency room, but decided against it when she returned home and found her sleeping.
However, text messages found on both Sandra and Elizabeth's cell phones told a very different story. According to court documents, Sandra sent messages to her boyfriend on March 14th and March 15th, stating that she knew that she needed to get her daughter to a hospital. A week later, on March 21st, she reportedly texted, and I'm going to read this to you. Quote, "Oh my God, babe, listen. I'm in my room and my mom called me, and now we have a name redacted. So this person was asking if I could check on her to make sure she isn't dying." End quote. So Sandra's boyfriend allegedly told her to take the little girl to the hospital, and she refused.
Texts between Sandra and Elizabeth
What?
showed that the lice infestation ultimately played a pivotal role in refusing to seek medical treatment. And in an interview, Sandra allegedly admitted that had she sought medical treatment for her daughter, she would still be alive today.
In one such message, Elizabeth,
Probably.
who allegedly would watch her grandkids from time to time so Sandra could go to work, threatened to call 911 to seek help for her granddaughter, but she ultimately decided against it. And I'll read again for you a text message she wrote to Sandra. Quote, "Can't go to the ER with her hair, but that's left up to me because you're not home."
Other messages indicated that the 9-year-old was sick on March 8th, 2 weeks before.
Bro, that's the dumbest shit ever. Like, one, the doctors and the nurses are gonna help you get rid of the lice. I mean, you might have to deal with CPS after that, but shit, in the state of your fucking kids, that probably wouldn't have been a bad thing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you need, like, it's not saying that they would have just immediately removed your fucking kids, but shit, it would have put some pressure on you to at least fucking, you know, put them in better living conditions and take care of your fucking kids better if you wanted to actually keep them. Like, what the
Death.
fuck, bro?
Elizabeth allegedly texted Sandra complaining that the kids were being unhelpful, while simultaneously accusing her own daughter of being more interested of doing things with her boyfriend than taking care of her sick kid.
Elizabeth noted that the little girl was not feeling good on March
Why
21st,
didn't
which was a Monday,
anyone else
the day
just take
before
her?
she was pronounced dead. Now, the grandmother stated that the little girl had a sore throat and she was having trouble breathing, so rather than bring her to the ER, she just gave her ibuprofen.
The Pima County medical examiner conducted an autopsy and determined that the little girl's cause of death was neglect.
Wow.
However, the manner of death was undetermined. According to medical examiner Dr. Gregory L. Hess, the 9-year-old died from anemia from untreated lice infestation with malnutrition as a contributing factor. Dr. Hess also noted that the little girl had fluid buildup in her lung tissue, pale skin and organs, necrosis of the liver, an iron
What?
deficiency, and cutaneous excoriations or
Damn,
lesions
she
caused by skin
suffered, bro.
picking.
That
The
is
medical
so
examiner also
terrible.
found signs of fatty liver disease as well as heart issues. Let's be very clear here that this is a 9-year-old girl with fatty liver disease and necrosis of the liver, something not commonly seen in young kids.
Both Sandra
Hey,
and
shout
Elizabeth
out to you, Mary.
Kraikovich are set to appear in court on Monday, July 11th, 2022. So that's today. And as of the date of this recording, Sandra Kraikovich remains in the custody of the Pima County Adult Detention Center with a bond that was initially set at $55,000, but now appears to be reduced to $40,000. According to the jail's inmate lookup, Sandra is the only Kraikovich listed within their facility, which could indicate that Elizabeth must have been bonded out. We were able to find a singular source that noted that Elizabeth was released to pretrial services on March 25th.
With all of this in mind, we have a lot of questions about how something like this
Wow.
could have happened. For one, What adult allows for a head lice infestation to go on for so long that it results in death?
Right.
Even
like,
if
that
you're a
shit's
terrible
crazy.
parent and you don't care about your kids, you're gonna have enough self-preservation to not want to have it yourself, wouldn't you? It is possible that mental health could have been a factor here, but this cannot be spoken to as there are no official sources stating that neither Sandra nor Elizabeth suffer from mental health issues that would have contributed to the death of the 9-year-old girl.
One could argue poverty. Maybe Sandra and
No,
Elizabeth
fuck
didn't
that.
have the funds to purchase over-the-counter
Fuck
treatments for the
that.
lice. There are stories floating around from an unofficial source that the Krakovich family was facing possible eviction, but that hasn't been
Who
substantiated
gives
within
a
official news
flying
sources.
fuck?
If the Krakovich family was having
That
trouble
is not an
purchasing an
excuse.
over-the-counter head lice treatment at their local Walgreens for $10 to $20, a quick trip to the doctor's office
Right,
with her
would've
3
fixed
kids
it.
would have solved the issue.
Facts.
Additionally, all of
I
Sandra's
said,
kids
didn't I
were
say that shit already? Like, the only reason why CPS would have got called is because apparently, like, as bad as the fucking lice infestation was, and as bad as she allowed her daughter to get, to the point where other people were now convincing her or trying to convince her to take her fucking daughter, that'd be the only reason CPS would get involved, because there was obvious signs of neglect, right? But had she just taken them, all 3 of her fucking kids, to the doctor to fucking just, hey, they need a checkup, and I noticed we got a lice problems. We don't have the money to go get these over the counters or anything that you could do to prescribe us something that we can do to get rid of this shit. Most cases, probably 100% of the case, they're gonna be like, most definitely. Here, we're gonna do a little treatment here in the hospital right now. Let's get them all cleaned up. Let's wash their shit up, and then we're gonna write you a little thing that you go to the fucking, pharmacy, get you some shit. You know what I'm saying? We need you to go get this shit. Bada boom, bada bing, bada bing. You know what I mean? That's what it is. Like, it wouldn't have been that big of a deal. But you made it a big deal.
If
'cause
the
you were
infestation
fucking
was so severe
dumb.
that insects were visible
Fucking
throughout the
stupid.
9-year-old's
What the
hair and face,
fuck?
how on earth was this not noticed by the school?
God.
Were
And the
kids
school,
even
you're
in
right.
school?
Finally, how does a 9-year-old girl end up with fatty liver disease and a necrotic liver while also
Right.
being malnourished? The liver can
Right,
fail due to
that is
many different
wild.
types of injuries or diseases, but oftentimes a cause cannot be found. Some known causes of acute liver failure included viruses such as Epstein-Barr, cytomegalovirus, or hepatitis A, B, and E. Metabolic conditions such as hereditary hemochromatosis. There's also drug toxicity, such as getting too much acetaminophen or aspirin or niacin. Certain intravenous drugs
Oh, that's
can do this
probably
as
what it
well.
was.
Exposure to
They
direct
were-
toxins such
That's probably what it was, because they probably were able to afford, well, it was probably more feasible to them or made more sense to them for whatever fucking reason to get, ibuprofen or Advil or whatever, because you can get the, the generic versions, $3-4, get 50, 60 pills, whatever it is, right? And then you just pump them down their fucking throat, and then that's probably where that came from.
phosphorus or pennyroyal oil. This can also happen due to acute allograft failure, which is basically failure of a skin graft, which there's no evidence to show the little girl had. We spoke with our friend Dr. Nathan, who's been on the show a few times. He's a clinical pharmacist and works with patients directly in treatment. And he was kind enough to provide his curious speculation. He writes, quote, "There are a few factors at play. The first is the severe malnutrition that can cause all the things listed there, though less likely the necrosis. I suspect the necrosis was secondary to either viral hepatitis, autoimmune hepatitis, or secondary infection.
Damn.
It's also possible that the girl was being provided with or taking of her own volition acetaminophen to help with the pain of the skin lesions and other issues.
She was
He
9.
also says he would be interested to know what her transaminases and acetaminophen levels were, as well as white blood count, and also anti-nuclear antibody and anti-smooth muscle antibody. Malnutrition with secondary infection with or without toxin ingestion is more likely than an autoimmune process given the context of this case." End quote. What I take this to mean is that while the young girl in question could have had some sort of autoimmune function that led to some of her symptoms, more than likely malnourishment with some sort of infection, with possible toxicity of some form, is much more likely than an autoimmune disease.
Now, with any case that is still developing, we're going to be on the lookout for updates as they come out. And as Elizabeth and Sandra have not been convicted of any crime yet, all statements are considered alleged until proven otherwise in a court of law. And as always, if you see something,
That's
say
sad as
something.
fuck, bro.
It could save a life. Sandra's boyfriend knew what was going on and could have intervened.
Right.
Elizabeth, who watched the kids on a regular basis, could have made that call to save her granddaughter's life.
Facts.
She didn't.
Terrible. Some people.
If you
are just
appreciate this
awful,
video
bro.
and
Some people are just awful. All right, we're gonna watch one more of these. All right, y'all want to watch? Yeah, y'all want to watch this one right here? Let's watch this one. This shit sounds.
if you only had 2 weeks on this
Incest couple
earth,
claim to
what
be
would you
great
want
parents.
that to look like? Would you want to be surrounded by your loved ones, or would you rather go out and see the world? The little girl at the center of our story didn't get a choice in the matter. She was a newborn. Her 2 weeks on this earth were nothing more than a cruel
Damn.
joke. Today's story is just as confusing as it is senseless and vile, and it will leave you with a lot of questions. This is the story of Kalia McNabb.
All right, y'all ready for this shit?
This week's episode has been brought to you by Hunt a Killer, where human behavior is part of the game.
Tired of the same old game nights? Looking for a fun new activity to do with your family, friends, or
Alright,
by
shout out to your
yourself? Then
sponsor.
Hunt a episode.
Let's get to this fucking.
In September of
story.
2017, first cousins, 28-year-old Christopher Michael McNabb and 25-year-old Courtney Marie Bell lived with their 2-year-old daughter Clarissa in a
Look, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but in this picture, that very first picture, Buddy looks like he's just ready to fuck his cousin. Like he looks
September.
He looks like a cousin fucker right there, don't he? Don't tell me he don't. Tell me he don't. I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I'm just saying, Buddy got that look like he's about to fuck his cousin. Like, oh
2017,
shit.
first cousins, 28-year-old Christopher Michael McNabb and 25-year-old Courtney Marie Bell lived with their 2-year-old daughter Clarissa in a trailer in the Eagle Point mobile home community in Covington, Georgia, near Henderson Mill Road
That
and
is
Highway
so
36.
fucking weird.
And yes, you heard all of that correctly. These are first cousins living as a couple who have reproduced. And if you're wondering, no, this is not a crime in Georgia. Marriage or
Is it
relationships
really
between
not?
first cousins is actually legal in more places than you would expect.
Courtney was born on March 29th.
Bro, hold the fucking front door. Is the blue states the states that the shit's not legal? Because Georgia's right here. This is Georgia right here. And then Florida. Yeah, I'm pretty sure this is Georgia right here because they touch. Right? And then this is Is this Mississippi right here? Pretty sure this is Mississippi. This is Georgia. And then this is fucking, or this might be Louisiana, one of the two. But anyways, bruh, this is Colorado. So you telling me there's if blue states are states where this shit is not a fucking crime. Look, Cali, fucking Colorado. I think this is New Mexico right here. We got fucking Florida, of course, Florida. You know what I'm saying? Maine, fucking New York and shit. Like, what the fuck, bruh? This is some bullshit. Fucking Alaska and shit. Fucking, oh, man. Okay, anyways. This
Actually legal in more places than you would expect.
Courtney was born on March
man.
29th, 1993, and
That's
she was
wild.
raised primarily by her father, Tim Bell, and her grandparents. She didn't have a relationship with her mother, and she actually didn't know who she was until one fateful day when she was 12 years old. Courtney was scrounging through her father's car looking for cigarettes and came across a hospital bracelet that had her birthday listed, as well as the name Pamela Hamby. Pamela Hamby had been introduced to Courtney in the past as a family friend, but the 12-year-old put two and two together and figured out that she was actually her biological mother.
I'm sure as you can guess, Pamela wasn't much of a mom. She actually
Wow.
didn't take care of any of her 7 kids. And when Courtney attempted to salvage some sort of relationship with her, Pamela wasn't interested. We have quite a bit to unpack
Yeah, why
here.
would
Why
you
is a
be?
12-year-old scrounging around for cigarettes in her dad's car? And why was Pamela's hospital bracelet stashed in the car for 12 years? Does Tim even clean his car out? Now, in 2013, Pamela did one of the worst things that she probably could have done. She introduced her 20-year-old daughter to her biological brother's son, Christopher McNabb. The two had a lot in common, actually. They both loved using
What?
drugs, both grew up without their mothers, shared the same bloodline, so it would only make sense that they would want to become a couple, obviously.
Now, I'm not going to pass judgment on their bizarre cousin relationship. To each his own, right?
No.
But it's not like Christopher was a stand-up guy either. In fact, he was described as the kid from hell, and his misbehavior spanned back to when he was just 8 years old. So with that in mind, let's talk a little bit about Christopher. He was born on March 23rd, 1990.
God, he just
By
looks
the time
like
he was
a
14 years
fucking
old,
creep,
he already
bro.
racked up a criminal record that included fighting, stealing, destruction of property, and running away from home. In fact, Christopher's father
Look,
and
and the
stepmother
older he
called
got,
the cops on
the
him
creepier he
multiple
looks.
times. His parents even had to keep a deadbolt on their bedroom door in order to keep Christopher out because he'd just steal their stuff. And it didn't actually even help. He'd reportedly stolen around $300 in cash and $7,000 in jewelry from his parents' bedroom and used it to get
That would've
hotel
beat his
rooms to do
ass.
drugs in.
At the age of 17, he was arrested for theft, criminal trespass, larceny,
Texas
criminal
Proud?
damage to property, and auto theft. You see, Christopher kept breaking into a metal shop called Woods Fabrication, located at 2759 Old State Highway 113 in Taylorsville, Georgia. While there, he stole a 2006 Ford F-350 and smashed it through a locked gate in order to take it. You'd think Christopher wouldn't be dumb enough to hit the same place up twice, right? Well, nearly 2 weeks later, he was arrested again after police were called by a security guard who claimed that Christopher tried to run him over while he was in the process of stealing a 1989 Ford truck and used it to break through a fence. 9 days later, police were called back to the fabrication shop where the
Damn.
owner reported the theft of a 1964 Buick Skylark that Christopher used to, once again, crash through the facility's gate. It is suspected that Christopher did this 5 times in total. After his
Golly.
misadventures with Grand Theft Auto, Christopher stole a PlayStation and a car from a house he was hanging out at. He was yet again arrested and spent 2 years in prison.
He
Now, you
just
would think
had
after doing
sticky
real
ass
time in
fingers.
prison,
Fucking
Christopher
A.
would have gotten his life together, right? Well, 5 weeks after being released, he stole his father's car and led police on a high-speed
This-
chase that ended after he hit a curb and blew out one of
Oh!
the tires. Then he chose to flee on foot. He was located at around 2 in the morning and arrested yet again.
So now that we have a little bit more background on our couple, we can continue with their story.
They fucking made for
Courtney
each
and
other,
Christopher claimed
apparently.
that they were
God
married,
damn.
although this wasn't actually the case. Chris's family was actually really embarrassed about their relationship, with his
Who
father
wouldn't
being the
be?
most vocal about it.
In 2015, Courtney became pregnant with the couple's first daughter, Clarissa, after her IUD allegedly fell out. She'd been pregnant once prior with another man's baby, which turned out to be a stillborn. Chris was not around for the first year and a half of Clarissa's life because he was back in jail yet again. But when he got out, he claimed the two had an instant bond.
Christopher, Courtney, and Clarissa were initially living with Courtney's father, Tim Bell, but eventually needed more space and moved into a trailer in the Eagle
That
Point
shit
mobile
is
home
so
community.
fucking weird. Hell no, you ain't about to come live here with my fucking niece and y'all's fucking baby. Like, hell no, I don't give a fuck, bruh. You gotta draw the line somewhere. Fuck that. That is the
Georgia.
craziest
But
shit ever.
This wasn't a family-friendly trailer park full of kids or retirees. Rather, it housed a lot of criminals, some pretty bad ones in
No
fact.
fucking
Trailer
way.
Park used to be called the Pine Valley Mobile Home Park, and on August 16th, 2000, a man by the name of William David Riley Sr. lit his rented trailer on fire with his 3 kids, 6-year-old Ashley, 5-year-old William, and 3-year-old Samantha
Damn.
inside. He was sentenced to death on March 14th, 2003.
Eagle Point was also a known location by the police for domestic calls. Some of those calls were dispatched to the McNabb
So there's
Bell
just a bunch of
trailer because
motherfuckers
by
losing
now,
their shit.
Christopher started putting his hands on Courtney. Family and friends have been quoted as saying that Courtney always had bruises all over her. And on one occasion, Christopher started busting the windows in the trailer in a fit of rage.
Need to County 911 with the address of the emergency. You need to send the police down here because Lot 31 is busting windows out of the trailer. Who is busting the windows out? The people that reached 31. and he busted windows, started busting windows out, and started cussing me.
But this didn't stop Courtney and
Start
Christopher
cussing
from
me.
having another kid together.
Everybody sound
On
like
September
they on some
23rd,
shit. God
2017, Courtney gave birth to a little girl who she names Kalia Claire Noella McNabb. Kalia remained in the hospital for 4 days as she was a month premature, needed antibiotics, and only weighed 5 pounds.
After her release, Kalia and Clarissa stayed for several days with Courtney's cousin, Megan Sorrells. However, Courtney never came to pick her kids back up. When the burden for caring for her cousin's kids, as well as her own 4, became unsustainable for Megan, Courtney's father, Tim Bell, picked up the girls and took them into his home, and wasn't happy because he knew that his daughter was on a bender. That Breaking Bad substance had pretty much taken over their lives.
But there was an incident the same day regarding a car that prompted a 911 call from Courtney. You see, Tim had bought a PT Cruiser that he allowed Courtney to use to get around, and he had prepaid about $600 worth of insurance for her. After Courtney essentially abandoned her 2-year-old and a newborn with her cousin, he and his parents repossessed the car with the kids in tow. This caused Christopher to fly into a rage and caused both Courtney and Tim to make separate calls to the police.
Newton County 911, what's the address of your emergency?
My dad and them came to my house. My dad and my grandparents came to my house. They had my little girl in the car. I took my little girl. They went to my cousin's house where my kids were, and took my newborn that I just had, and they took my car.
Why did they do that?
Said that they were taking my kids.
Newton County 911, where's your emergency?
Yes, ma'am. Can you send the police out to my house at 65 Loudon Drive, Covington, Georgia 30014?
Yeah, 65 Loudon Drive. What's going on there?
Yes, ma'am. It's pertaining to my grandchildren. She left both her kids. They abandoned both their kids last night at my niece's house. The police is going to come out.
Yeah, they're coming out there to you. They're out there right now, Eagle Point, talking to them, and they're going to come over there and talk to you, okay? So you'll just wait right there, okay?
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
All right, thank you. Bye-bye.
Damn, they
Tim brought
both called
Clarissa
the
and
police.
Kalia back to Courtney and Christopher on October 6th after she promised to clean her house up. According to Tim, Kalia was healthy, fed, and clean and had no injuries whatsoever when he left her with her parents. Additionally, Tim noticed Christopher hiding behind a tree upon his arrival. Allegedly, the two did not get along at all.
However, the kids probably should have stayed in their grandfather's care. That same night, Courtney's cousin Craig Weatherford visited the couple's trailer in order to use drugs with them. If you've been watching our show over the last few weeks, we've ended up with an unintentional common theme. I'll let you take a guess what that might be. Now, according to Craig, he saw Kalia during the visit and noted that she looked fine and that she was sleeping soundly in a bassinet in the bedroom.
Around 5 a.m. on October 7th, Courtney went to sleep on a couch in the living room after being up with Kalia much of the night. Now, whether Kalia was really up crying or if Courtney was still up tweaking from the night before is up for debate. At 5:51 that same morning, Christopher was up and added a new profile picture to his Facebook account. Just a few hours later at 7:41 a.m., Christopher texted his friend, Shane Kidd, stating that he was wigging and tripping, in his own words, and needed to get out of the house. Shane was another friend that also used drugs at the couple's trailer and claimed to have used there several times since Kalia had come home from the hospital. According to Shane, wigging and tripping meant that Christopher was paranoid from using meth. An hour after his first text message, Christopher texted Shane again, stating that he could not find Kalia.
It should be also noted that between the hours of 10:30 p.m. on October 6th and 9:42 a.m. on October 7th, while Christopher is claiming that he cannot find his baby, he was texting back and forth with a woman he had met on the internet named Courtney Morris via Facebook Messenger. At 9:44 a.m., Christopher tried to call Courtney, however, she did not pick up. It's been alleged that Christopher often cheated on Courtney Bell, and it was not unusual for her to chase him down and confront the women he'd been stepping out with. I know two Courtneys in one case can be confusing.
Right,
However, this is the only time during the story that we're going to be discussing Courtney Morris.
Christopher then joined Courtney, the mother of his children, on the couch and went to sleep for a very short period of time. As just after 10 a.m., Clarissa woke Christopher and Courtney after she too discovered that Kalia was missing. Now, mind you, Clarissa is 2 years
The
old.
fuck
It
did
should
they do with
also
the
be noted
baby?
that the couch where Christopher and Courtney were sleeping was near 2 doors that led outside, and that those were the only ways in and out of the home.
Courtney called her father, her aunt, and her friend Melissa Davis to ask if Kalia was with them. Now, Melissa walked over to the couple's home a few moments later and saw Christopher standing on the porch. According to Melissa, he repeatedly stated, quote, "They're going to think I did this," end quote. She told him to calm down, but something didn't feel quite right.
Courtney was calling out for Kalia and told Melissa that she thought that maybe her grandparents might have taken her. At 10:39 a.m., Courtney finally called 911 and reported that Kalia was missing. Melissa then saw Christopher leave the home and noted that he was not carrying anything when he left.
Dayton County 911, what's the emergency? I just woke up. My dog woke me up on the couch. I have a 2-year-old and I have a 2-week-old. And my 2-week-old is not in her sleeper. Her passy is on the floor. She's not in her sleeper? She's not in her sleeper. She's not here. I've looked everywhere. I've looked under clothes and everything. What's your address, ma'am? 12145 Highway 36, Lot 31. Yes, Lot 31.
How do you just lose a 2-week-old?
My child said, my 2-year-old said she's gone. And I've looked everywhere in the house, so I don't know another possibility. How old is she, ma'am? 2 weeks old.
Several officers arrived on the scene a few minutes later and met with the mother. She told the officers that Kalia was missing and repeated that she had last seen her at approximately 5 in the morning. She also noted that Christopher told her that he received a text from his father at 9:30 a.m. and that at the time, both kids were okay. Courtney stated that a little before 10:30 a.m., Clarissa woke her and Christopher, saying that Kalia was gone. She also noted that Christopher had left and walked toward Highway 36 to look for their daughter. Please keep in mind that Kalia is a newborn.
Right, what the
she
fuck
couldn't
you
have
mean
gotten up and
walked?
walked off on her own, and the fact that Courtney keeps calling out for Kalia is kind of bizarre.
The owner of the mobile home park and officers at the scene noted that there were no signs of forced entry to the home, which included a window near Kalia's bassinet in the master bedroom. There was also no blood or any other signs of trauma in the bedroom or anywhere else in the home. One officer testified that Courtney was adamant that she did not suspect that anybody would come into the home and take Kalia. A crime scene investigator noted that, given the lack of signs of forced entry on the doors and the window of the home, it did not appear to be plausible that somebody had broken in and kidnapped Kalia.
About a half hour after the officers arrived,
No, the
Christopher
dad
approached
took
the
the
home from
baby
the direction
somewhere.
of Highway 36. Now, it was raining at the time, and according to those on the scene, he was sweaty, wet, muddy, and he had green stuff on him that suggested that he might be coming out of the woods. His demeanor was described as fidgety, shady, and extremely nervous.
Christopher showed one of the officers where he had been looking in the woods for Kalia, but never explained why he was looking for her there. An officer noted that Christopher had a flashlight, which the father claimed to have been using to find her. However, according to the responding officers, the sun had been up since around 7:40 a.m. that day.
A few minutes later, investigator Jeff Alexander arrived on the scene and spoke with the parents
happened to the
inside of their
damn baby?
trailer, after which he directed a search for Kalia in the wooded area where Christopher told deputies that he had traveled. He noted that he found it very odd that Christopher had gone to search for her there. He also noted that the sheriff's office would not have focused its search in the woods had officers not learned that Christopher had gone out there.
Another investigator named Wade Freeman, who also assisted in the investigation, learned that there were several theories about where Kalia might be, including that Christopher's father, Courtney's grandparents, or a neighbor in the trailer park might have taken Kalia. Now, investigator Freeman found no
fuck
indication that
that.
any of those leads were
The
viable.
tweaking ass dad
Fred
did
Weatherford,
something
who you'll
stupid.
remember joined the couple in their drug taking the night prior, denied that he broke into the couple's home and kidnapped Kalia. Courtney's father, Tim, denied going to the trailer park on the night of October 6th or the morning of October 7th to take Kalia from the couple, and noted that he would not have done so without calling to get permission first.
Christopher and Courtney were taken to the Newton County Sheriff's Office for questioning, where Christopher was given Miranda warnings before being interviewed. According to investigator Alexander, neither Christopher nor Courtney were under arrest at the time, and the purpose of the interviews was to quickly gather information about the timeline of Kalia's disappearance. Investigator Alexander said at the time that they were considered persons of interest. In the interview, Christopher talked about some incidents earlier in the week involving the kids and Courtney's father, Tim, the time that he had spent caring for and feeding Kalia, and also described his relationship with Courtney's family, which are arguably his family too, being first cousins and all. Now, Christopher told investigator Alexander that he fed
Right,
Kalia between
that's so
3:30 and
weird.
5 a.m. on October 7th and then went to sleep. He said that he woke up at about 9:30 a.m. when his father texted him, and that both girls were asleep in the bedroom at the time. Christopher then went back to sleep, but was later awoken by his older daughter, Clarissa, who was crying. He then discovered that Kalia was not in the house. After helping Courtney search for Kalia in the home, he left and he started looking for her in the woods. Christopher then mentioned that a man named Matt Lester might want to retaliate against him.
On September 13th, just 10 days prior to Kalia's birth, Shane Kidd and Matt Lester went to the couple's trailer to play video games and to do drugs. Matt testified that while he was there, Christopher and another man jumped on him and punched and kicked him. Matt Lester managed to free himself and then ran out of the home. When questioned, Matt testified that he never broke into the couple's trailer and that he never went there after the day that Christopher attacked him. Shane Kidd testified that Christopher had no enemies who would have broken into his home and kidnapped his newborn daughter.
According to
Right,
investigator
like, that's such a
Alexander,
wild
Christopher's
fucking-
timeline, particularly
Bro, you're
his
not no
statements about
fucking
Kalia being fine at 9:30 and then
political-
missing by
You know what I'm
10:30,
saying?
indicated
Like,
that it was not a feasible scenario that Matt Lester had come into the
where-
home
yeah,
and
no,
abducted
fuck
Kalia.
that.
Christopher had told police
dad
that
did
he
something.
felt somebody had put out a hit on him.
No.
But investigator Alexander found it illogical that somebody would retaliate against a person's newborn when that person was asleep on a couch nearby.
Right.
Additionally, Matt Lester was in jail at this time, and it should also be noted he recently passed away after stealing a truck and crashing it while out on parole.
Investigator
Damn.
Alexander also noted that Tim Bell was ruled out as a suspect right away, and there was no evidence that Christopher or Courtney had significant assets that would have made them a target for a ransom demand. Investigator Alexander testified that Christopher's statements about the amount of time he had spent with Kalia since her birth could not be reconciled with other information that he had received about how little the father had seen his own daughter, and how much time Kalia had spent with other family members. During the interview, Christopher did not ask any questions about the efforts being made to locate his daughter. Both Christopher and Courtney were not
he knew.
charged and were escorted home by deputies after the interviews were concluded.
The search for Kalia continued that afternoon and evening. A perimeter was set up for the wooded area around the trailer park, and canine units were brought out to the scene. The dogs were allowed to sniff some of Kalia's clothing and then attempted to track her through a trail in the woods and across Henderson Mill Road into an area where logging had been taking place. The dogs were not able to locate Kalia in the search. Around 9 p.m. that night, the search was suspended for the evening. On the morning of October 8th, both Christopher and Courtney, as well as Pamela Hamby, prepared to appear on television for a press conference. Now, you'll recall from earlier that Pamela is Courtney's biological mother and Christopher's aunt. During this time, the
Such a
search for Kalia
fucking
had resumed.
fucked up
A neighbor who
scenario.
had joined the search efforts
Every
came
time he
across a
says it.
log that was sitting over a hole in the ground that looked unusual and out of place. Under the log, there was a pile of sticks. The neighbor saw a black drawstring, and when she pulled on it, she saw a blue Nike drawstring bag. At that point, the neighbor asked someone with her to
What?
alert the police.
Deputy Timothy Dickerson was participating in the search near Henderson Mill Road, and he responded to where the bag had been
This
located.
nigga stuffed
It
her in a
appeared to be wet
bag?
from the recent rain, but Deputy Dickerson did not think that the bag appeared to have been there very long. Investigator Mickey Kitchens arrived on the scene a few minutes later, and he and Deputy Dickerson opened the bag. They removed several articles of men's clothing, which were later determined to belong to Christopher McNabb. Deputy Dickerson and Investigator Kitchens
okay.
then saw the top of an infant's head and an ear beneath a blanket. Inside of the bag was the body of Kalia McNabb. It has been also noted that a stash of
No.
drug paraphernalia was located near where poor Kalia was found.
You might be wondering, how did the canine unit not pick up Kalia's scent when she was found so close to the home? This was due to Kalia's small size, the fact that she was carried, and the fact that she was wrapped in clothing inside of a bag. All of these factors would have made it harder for a dog to track her scent. Kim Weatherford, who was
Damn,
Courtney's
that
aunt
is
and Craig's
sad
mother,
as
learned from her
fuck.
husband that Kalia's body had been found, and so she called her
dad
niece
did
to
it.
tell her what had happened. At the time, Courtney was in a vehicle with Christopher, her mother, and 2 other people. They were returning to the trailer for an interview with the media. After Kim told Courtney that Kalia had been found, Pamela Hamby told Christopher to run. Pamela, who was Courtney's mom and Christopher's aunt, later testified that she told Christopher to get out of the car because she worried that people would believe that he killed Kalia. Christopher stated that he was worried that if Kalia was found near their home, people would think he and Courtney had something to do with it. When the car stopped at a red light, Christopher said, "They are going to think it's me," and so he jumped out of the car. A few minutes later, Courtney, Pam, and the others arrived at the trailer park without Christopher. An officer asked Courtney if she was missing a backpack. She replied that Christopher had a bag that she had not seen in a couple days. She described the bag as a Nike drawstring bag that was blue on one side with a red emblem and red on the other side with a blue emblem. She said Christopher kept the bag with him all of the time and carried his clothes in it, but that she had not seen it in a couple days. Courtney then advised the officer that when she learned that Kalia had been found, Christopher jumped out of the car and said, "They are going to blame me for it," and ran away. The officer then issued a lookout for the father. Investigator Alexander, who directed the search for Kalia, and now Christopher, noted that this raised their level of suspicion, as, in their words, innocent people don't run. Christopher entered a Chevron gas station on Highway 36 later that afternoon. According to cashier Julie Hanna, Christopher looked wet and nasty. He told her that he had gotten out of the car when he learned Kalia had been found, and that he had been running because the cops were on his trail. Christopher, who was acting hyperactive, told the cashier that he did not do it.
The cashier called 911 and asked a customer to not leave her alone with Christopher. According to the customer, Christopher alleged that he had been in the woods for 2 days. But this wasn't the only 911 call placed. In fact, there were 3.
County 911, what's that, just of your emergency?
That guy that his baby was found dead is in the Chevron on 36.
Okay. Do you still have eyes on him?
Yes,
No,
ma'am.
he's silent,
Okay, hold on one second.
Please.
I know they're on the way.
Keep him on the phone radio.
Is he running? Hello?
Newton County 911, was your emergency? Yes, the guy y'all are looking for, he's in the store right here at 36.
We have a deputy that's in the area. Do you see our deputy?
Yeah, there's 2 or 3 right.
Okay, all right. If you'll just let them check it out.
Oh, there he is.
They got him?
Yeah. Newton County 911, was that just an emergency? Highway 36.
They was on it. They was on it.
Food Mart, the Chevron Food Mart. The guy that his daughter was found or whatever this morning is walking up the road up here. There's a bunch of people in the gas station right now, and mostly everybody in there saw him.
Yeah, we've gotten actually several calls about it.
An officer responded to the 911 call, found Christopher near the gas station, and arrested him. When he was found, he was soaking wet, had grass and leaves in his clothes, and appeared to have been in a wooded area.
Of course.
Following his arrest, Christopher was again advised of his Miranda rights and interviewed. In that interview, he said that when Kim Weatherford called Courtney to tell her that Kalia had been found, Kim repeatedly accused him of killing Kalia and that he had jumped out of the car because he was scared and did not want to go back to the trailer. He also admitted to using drugs the night before Kalia disappeared, but denied that he used his Facebook account after he checked on his daughters at 9:30 in the morning.
The medical examiner performed an autopsy on Kalia the next day. Under a blue blanket, Kalia's body was wrapped in a gray, sleeveless adult t-shirt. The blanket had stains on it that appeared to be blood, and there were leaves and other debris inside the bag in which she had been found, including between her body and the t-shirt. The medical examiner noted several injuries to Kalia's face and head, including bruises, multiple fractured bones, an indentation in her skull, and significant brain damage. These injuries were closed head injuries, so that means they would not have resulted in significant blood splatter. Kalia had suffered a cut just below her eye that may have been caused by a sharp object. Kalia also suffered blunt force injuries to her mouth that caused her deciduous teeth to penetrate her gums. The medical examiner testified that these injuries were likely caused by a huge amount of impact to the head that resulted in all the fractures and the injuries to Kalia's mouth. The injuries to Kalia's cheek and mouth may have resulted in the bleeding observed on the blanket. For those of you who aren't aware, deciduous teeth are your baby teeth. Kalia was a newborn baby. Now, all babies are different, but usually your baby teeth do not start to come out until you're around 6 months old. This means that Kalia was beaten so badly that her baby teeth, which were still up in her skull, went through her gums and cut up her cheeks. She was only 15 days old.
The medical examiner determined that all of
fuck could a
Kalia's injuries were suffered
15-day-old
all at
baby
once
do
and
to
that she would
you?
have died relatively quickly. She testified that the injuries might have been caused by a series of blows with an object or a crushing injury, such as stomping her head against a hard surface or a large object falling on her head. The medical examiner discounted the possibility that a television or another heavy object would have fallen on Kalia while she was asleep on the bed. She noted that the softness of the bed would have cushioned Kalia's head against the blow of the falling object, and that these types of injuries that she suffered were more common when a crushing blow caused the head to be pressed firmly against a hard surface. She also testified that the presence of leaves around Kalia's body might indicate that she was wrapped in the shirt while she was in the wooded area. The cause of Kalia's death was blunt impact injury to the head, and the manner of death was homicide. Investigator Alexander, who had been present at the autopsy, testified that, based on his experience, Kalia's death was definitely not accidental.
On Wednesday, October 11th, 2017,
terrible.
Christopher was charged with malice homicide, felony homicide, aggravated battery, and concealing a death. According to his arrest warrants, Christopher, quote, did strike the victim with an unknown object. This action did cause the victim's skull to be seriously disfigured and damaged beyond repair, end quote. On December 13th, 2017, Christopher asked to speak with investigator Alexander. He was brought to an interview room and again read his Miranda rights. In that interview, he suggested that Shane Kidd killed Kalia. He also attributed Kalia's death to his use of meth and the people he allowed in his home to use drugs. In this same interview, he also admitted that he hit Courtney a week or two before Kalia was born, which resulted in a black eye.
Investigator Alexander followed up on other tips and rumors that were circulating in the community about the crime, including that Shane Kidd had killed Kalia. However, he found no truth to any of those rumors, and he had not found anyone with a motive to abduct or kill baby Kalia. Soon, Courtney too was arrested for her role in Kalia's death on January 1st, 2018. Although the courts believed that Christopher was indeed the person responsible for Kalia's death, Courtney was negligent in causing it due to her rampant substance use, and that her actions contributed to the death of her newborn daughter.
District Attorney Layla Zahn
That
stated
shit's
the
crazy.
following with regards to Kalia. Quote, she was a gift to Courtney Bell and Christopher McNabb. That child was doomed the moment they left that hospital. They took
Facts.
pure innocence and brought that child into a life of hell, end quote. And with regards to Christopher, she went on to state, quote, all this fake crying and fake tears he did during the interviews about how much he loved his children and that he did it in the courtroom are a joke, end quote.
Christopher was
Yep,
found guilty
agreed.
of malice homicide, felony homicide, homicide in the second degree, aggravated battery, cruelty to a minor in the first degree, cruelty to a minor in the second degree, and concealing the death of another person. He's currently being held at the Hay State Prison, serving life without the possibility of parole. After the sentence was delivered, Christopher responded, I would never do this. I'm innocent.
You claim you're innocent, so you tell me what sentence the man or woman that you claim did this should receive.
If you ever find out who did them, they deserve to be under the jail.
Okay, so they ought to get the maximum sentence.
Most definitely.
Okay. On the crime of malice murder, I sentence you to life in confinement without parole. On concealing the death of another, I sentence you to 10 years in confinement, consecutive or after. Count one. Do you understand each of your sentences?
Yes, sir.
Courtney was convicted of second-degree homicide, second-degree cruelty
his
to a
ass under
minor,
that
and
bitch.
contributing to the dependency of a minor.
Fuck that
At
nigga.
sentencing, she acknowledged that her use of substances was a sickness and stated, I try to be a good mama. I love my babies. However, her statement was countered by Judge John Ott, who said,
And you chose methamphetamine and McNabb over a baby.
It's a sickness, but I tried to be a good mama. I
The
love my babies.
The problem, Miss McNabb, is that, like most criminals, you have this version of what a good mama is that is so far from the norm that, you know, you go anywhere in this county, talk to anybody who's watching this and say, is it a good mama who doesn't even care about her 14-year-old baby? Put them with a cousin.
14
instances
14
where
days.
mamas won't even lip in the first couple of weeks of a child's life. People around the child, for fear that the child's immune system hadn't been built up, and they don't want germs brought into the child. They go to that extent. You went just the exact opposite direction, and there's just no excuse for that.
At all.
On count, well, let's talk about this. Count 2 merges with count 1.
Yes, Judge.
What's the thought about count 3? On count 1, I'm going to sentence you with 30 years, with the first 15 years to be served in confinement in the state penitentiary, the remaining time on probation. On count 3, I'm going to sentence you to 10 years in confinement and run at the same time as count 1. Now, do you understand your 2 sentences?
She got 15
Let the
years,
record reflect
basically.
she's nodding her head
Her shit's
slightly
gonna run
yes.
together.
So justice is served now,
So
right?
she got 30
Depends on who
years,
you
but
ask. The Court of Appeals of Georgia
15 of it
overturned
is
Courtney Bell's
confined, the rest
homicide
of it's on
convictions,
probation.
reasoning that the evidence was insufficient for a jury to find her guilty of second-degree homicide and second-degree cruelty to a minor. The 3-judge panel, however, upheld Courtney's conviction on the felony charge of contributing to the dependency of a minor. She's currently being held at the Pulaski State Prison, which lists her maximum possible release date as January 5th, 2033.
Yeah.
She is eligible for parole.
Yeah, 'cause
Courtney
the judge
currently
said
has a
that.
profile listed on a prison
said it.
single site called cagedladies.com. Her ad reads as follows.
Hey there, my name is Courtney Bell. I'm 29 years old, 5'5" and 180 pounds, with long hair down to my waist and beautiful blue eyes. I'm a down-to-earth, lovable, spur-of-the-moment type of woman
is
who's
this? This bitch
also
got a
open to all
fucking prison
genders and
Tinder
enjoys
page.
surprises to keep things on the edge. I've been in prison for 5 years now, but was recently granted an appeal, so I'm hopeful I'll be given an early release date soon so I can return home and start living my life again, but with more intention. In the meantime, I'm in search of that special someone who'd like to become a friend and companion to me while I finish out these trying times, and hopefully we can bring each other some happiness and excitement along the way. I'm definitely in search of comfort and understanding from someone compassionate enough towards my situation and eager to pursue the possibilities of the future that's ahead but not known yet.
So what do you
No,
think
bitch.
about all this? Like many things in this case, there's a ton
You
to
are
unpack.
not the
and
catch
so many
that
unanswered
any
questions.
nigga needs.
There
to
are a couple
fucking
theories
catch.
out there in the true crime community about Courtney,
She one of them throwbacks.
including that she had full
You pull her on the reel, you be like, and then you like pull her up, and you're like, nope, that's that carp shit right there. Throw that bitch back. You know what I'm saying? You don't actually keep those ones. You throw them shits back.
knowledge
in the water.
about what Christopher was going to do to Kalia, and
Fuck
even a
outta here,
theory that
Courtney
she
Bell.
set Christopher up. Do you feel she's fully responsible for the circumstances surrounding her daughter's death? It should
Yeah.
be noted that Courtney is a battered woman. That is a fact. You
For
can
sure.
see that from the police body cam footage. She's all bruised up. Also, there were multiple reports of Christopher attacking her, and he readily admits to having done so multiple times during his court hearing. Some folks have commented that a drug treatment center would be a better place for Courtney to get sober and learn the skills necessary to make her a more productive member of society when she's
still needs
released
to
in
go to jail
2033. Do you
She could do
agree
all
with
that
this,
shit
or
in
do you
jail.
think Courtney was tired of being beaten, cheated on, and set Christopher up? Let us know in the comments section down below.
No, I think that she's got a sentence that was suiting to, her role in the situation. Like, she'll get out, she'll be all right. She, hopefully she learns some life skills and some fucking life lessons and shit. And you know what I mean? That's just what it is. Like, I feel like that's the best case scenario for old girl. All right. But I want to watch this one last video. Right? We're going to switch it up just a little bit. And I was going to start this live off with this video. And then I was like, you know what? No, we're going to switch it up. But this one we're going to do a police video. It's called When You Accidentally Snitch on a Friend. How you accidentally snitch on a friend. I mean, in 2022, though, I guess it's not that hard. So let's go ahead and watch this shit.
Officer in
Shout
Florida
out to
saw a
Active
car
Police
pick
Cam.
up a girl on the street at 2
Must have grabbed some,
a.m. As he got
booze,
behind
too.
this car, the car suddenly stopped and turned into a nearby driveway. As always, the full police report is down in the description, and I'll go over the outcome of the case at the end of the video.
Hello. How are you?
But I'll trade you.
602 South Church. I'll get your tag here in a minute. How we doing? We're just hanging out?
Just hanging out, bro. I seen that's my classmate.
Yeah,
I ain't doing nothing wrong.
Okay.
You want my name? I need my name. I got license, registration.
License is all good?
Yes, sir. I just stopped to holler at him.
He said, yes, sir.
Okay. Well, I mean,
I know everything going on around here, but I'm good people, man. My name Keith. My name is Mr. J. Jordan. Last name Jordan.
Keith Jordan?
Yes, sir.
where you staying?
I was staying in Daytona. I was
Staying in
flag
Daytona.
was finished. That's my business. She's just, you know what I mean? I seen you in the road. I just stopped to holler at her. But we see.
Yeah, he seen me, he stopped. And that's why he stopped in the middle of the road.
Right.
So
She told me to pull in here. He told me to pull in here and start
So
pulling
you
in.
didn't fuck with him because he stopped in the middle of the road.
Okay. You know you got a tail light out, right?
I just got a bulb.
Did you?
Well, the
your
bulb
right tail
blew
light.
out,
I'm just letting it's light, but it's the red is cut off it.
Just got a bulb from the gas station.
It's just white. I'm saying it's not red. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
So it looks like the light's broken or something.
But I just put it in there.
It's no big deal.
The red thing is broken on it. But I just
What was that ash from your cigarette
Yeah.
on your seat?
Yeah.
I just put it on my lighter.
Okay.
I just picked her up, bro. I just saying, she told me to get out the road. I stopped to holler at her. That's what made it look like that. I stopped to holler at her.
Yeah.
Right then, she said,
Y'all
"Me
doing
and
too much
you."
explaining,
Pull
man.
behind you. She said, pull in.
Okay.
What up, Brian?
All right.
They doing way
that's
too
fair
much
enough.
explaining.
Listen, I'm gonna just get some ideas and I'll get you out of here. Okay. I'll get out of here. I'll leave you
I
alone.
didn't get out here, but listen, I don't have my ID.
Okay.
I'm not lying to you. My name is Keith.
Okay. That's fine.
Keith Jordan.
Vanilla 32 to 5.
Vanilla 32.
I know you got to do your job.
1069 go to.
I know you got to do your job.
I don't know. I just didn't have my pen or my paper on me. Keith, what'd you say?
You're
Keith?
unreadable.
Keith.
1069 code 2, please.
Keith, K-E-I-T-H.
10-4, Vanilla 13, copy.
My middle name is
Okay. Well, my partner's gonna come over and just run you and all that stuff. I'm sure. You said your license is all good, right?
license good, bro.
Okay.
Hopefully it is, bro.
And what's your name, man?
Because you did a whole lot of explaining this shit. A whole lot. Just way too much. God damn.
Leave it. It's okay, man. It makes us
Fidgety.
nervous when you go
You
grab
making
it.
me nervous.
Yeah,
God,
don't worry about it.
yeah,
It's not
you
that
making
important.
me
You know what I mean?
nervous, nigga.
I
Yeah.
have ID. You know I got ID? Because last week I was in jail, but
For what?
for a domestic with my 17-year-old daughter and
Oh, God.
in Volusia. In Volusia, they give you a badge.
Okay. A badge for what?
Like when you get arrested, they
Oh,
give you
okay.
like a badge. I just had it in there.
Okay.
To prove what?
Is that your attorney stuff right there? Law office?
Yes.
Perfect.
You got out of jail.
Where is
they
it?
give
Jordan
you-
Keith. There it is. Okay.
Keith Jordan.
Okay.
That's my address.
Well, once my partner gets here, she'll run you and all that stuff, and we'll get you out of here. Okay?
Yeah. I ain't here to hide.
Do you have your ID on you though, ma'am? No. Okay.
I know her from school.
Hey, listen. Where you staying tonight?
I'm going home.
I'm going home.
All right.
I'm going home.
Well,
I just stopped.
Hey, Officer Devane, would you mind? They don't have their IDs on them. Could you just run them for me real quick? And then we'll get you out of here, okay?
I'm going home, brother.
All right. I hear you.
Bruh. That was deep as fuck, Brian. That motherfucker was like just talking way too much, bro. He was just.
Because we just have to run everybody
talking.
in the call.
God damn, nigga, shut up.
What's your last name?
Last name Floyd, F-O-O-Y-D. First
Okay.
name Keisha.
Okay, and sir? What?
Is it Keisha?
Your information? Okay.
I told him the same thing. I don't have it on me, but
Okay, your name's Keith Jordan. Can you hand that to me, please, ma'am?
Mr. Jordan. Hey, step back here with me real quick.
He got a warrant. This nigga got a warrant. Yeah, he
Jordan.
made you get out the car.
Let me tell you this right now.
You got a warrant.
Looks like your license is good, man. I'm gonna make sure that that's you and all that stuff.
Okay.
I got no intention on hemming you up for any of the traffic stuff or anything like that.
Yes.
You know, you can't be stepping in the roadway. You know, you gotta get
Oh,
that
I'm
light
about to
taken care of.
say,
Not a
this
big deal.
nigga got a
That
warrant.
being said,
yes, sir.
do I look like the kind of guy who wants to spend the next 6 hours with you
Yes.
over a DUI?
Yes, sir.
I do look like I want to
No.
spend. No, I don't.
I'm good.
That being said,
Yes, sir.
you think maybe you could just hang out for a little while until you get your eyes cleared up and all
Yes,
that?
sir. I promise I can.
All right. That being said, anything in your pockets or in the vehicle? I'll tell you right now because you got alcohol containers in there, so I'm gonna be looking inside.
But listen, I don't have anything on my person or anything in my vehicle.
What about her?
Listen, I just picked her up. I know her from school. Right?
Okay.
I'm gonna be honest with you. I know what she do.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And she told me to pull out the road.
Okay.
Right? I
Did
hope
she say she was holding it anyway?
she never said anything. All she told me was to pull in.
Well, you understand. I mean, you more
This
than most
nigga
probably understand how
snitching on it.
construction.
I don't need no
So that's why I need to know: is it something?
I'll be honest with you.
Is it going to be something in the truck, or is it going to be something on her?
It might be something on her. Because I watched her the whole time she was in my truck.
Okay.
When she got in, I watched her the whole time.
She didn't take anything out.
I don't think she put in.
Did she try and
If it
get?
is, it's on her person. I don't smoke.
Is it going to be in her pocket or in her purse?
It might be on her. I know she smoked. Only reason why I pulled over, bro, is because I seen her and I was speaking to her. I was headed home.
All right.
This is my address right here.
I believe. Listen, like I said, man, I'm gonna give you some warnings. I'm gonna get you out of here. All right, do me a favor, just empty out your
This
pockets for me.
nigga
Show
just
me you ain't got
snitched
nothing on
all
there.
the way on this bitch. He said, "Yeah, I know this bitch from school, and that's about as far as that shit go. I was stopping to say hi, and now I'm trying to say bye. So, yeah, send me on my way, play. You can pull this bitch about the car, and whatever there is that you find, it is that
That's all your
bitch.
stuff.
So,
I don't want you to lose it.
I'm putting it out my, I'm telling you. I have nothing to hide, bro. That pocket.
Let me see your cigarette pack real quick.
You can even search me, bro.
No, we ain't gonna do all that, man. There ain't no reason for me to go. Here, I'm gonna give you that. You just hang out there for a second.
Put your shoes on. I'm good.
All right, no, you're good, man. Keep your shoes on. You're fine. All right, take your time over there. God damn, that thing almost hit me twice. No, it's not your fault, man. You have positive on her? Yeah?
Yep.
Okay, will you hang out with him for me real quick?
Sure, thank
What was her name? What's her name? Miss Floyd? Okay, here, do me a favor, step out for me, please.
What's up?
I'm gonna talk to you here in a minute.
I should be out. I ain't got no charges.
Not yet.
Not yet.
That's what I'm gonna talk to you about. I mean, come on over
He
here.
said, "Not yet,
Come over
shit, bitch. You might."
There's no reason to close the door. We're gonna be going in the truck anyway. I just want to make sure we're clear about something. You understand? You're from here, correct?
Yeah.
So you understand what happens in this area right now?
I was actually asked to take me home, but I had to pull it here because I saw you behind him.
Okay.
And I went like crazy to get in
It's
the car.
Williams, correct?
Who?
Kanisha Williams. What is your last name?
No, Floyd.
Floyd. Okay, Miss Floyd.
I was actually over here. I was standing over the road when I
All right, I'm trying to do this the best way I can. So I'm gonna ask you to step over here.
Is there something wrong?
Yeah, there's something wrong.
What did I do?
Okay. I don't want to have to go reading you your rights because I don't want to have to get to that point. Is there any reason why someone leading you to believe that there's narcotics in your purse?
No.
So you know there's no narcotics in your purse?
Where is this coming from?
I'm telling you right now. I'm asking you because if I get stuck on a needle checking your stuff out,
What kind of shit is this? What up, Kay?
What reason is there for you to search me?
Because I don't know. If you would like, I can document it in an arrest report. But I'm gonna ask you right now. Do you have anything in your purse?
I do not have anything in my purse. I was walking. I got in somebody else's vehicle. You ran my name.
I have to
Up
do.
my name.
No, as far as I know, it doesn't.
So then why are you trying to search me?
I'm not
I
trying
feel
to
you
tell
on
what's
that.
gonna happen.
Like, shit, why you fucking with me still, man? I ain't did nothing wrong.
You can listen. You can read it out. in
I was
the
walking
arrest
down the
report.
street, got a nigga car.
It
Why you
depends on
fucking
how
with me?
How this interaction goes.
I feel that, bitch.
There's a lot of different things we can do. If there's some weed in it, it is what it is. I'll take it and I'll get rid of it. But if you're lying to me,
I need to know what probable cause there is. Now, I'm not trying to be an asshole, but I'm not doing anything wrong.
okay,
And nothing in
you
my purse.
are in a high crime area.
And that's illegal to be sitting in the middle of the road?
If you'd like me to answer, I'll answer, but you're not going to interrupt me. You're in a high crime area. You're with someone that does not stay in this area. I also have belief that there is something in your purse.
So you think I have to be in my purse? You have probable cause.
It's probable cause.
That's his probable cause.
This
Is
isn't the
his
judge and jury.
belief. That's more than enough,
Okay, we can do
unfortunately.
this a lot
I know
of
that
different ways of
sounds
trying to do
stupid,
this.
but
Can't
that's
you find somebody else
just
out here because you fucking with me
it's
right now.
unfortunate.
You have no reason to fuck with me. And you search my purse, there's probably nothing in my purse. But you have no reason to search my purse. You think I'm doing something because I'm over here. And I wasn't even over here. I was standing in the middle of the road eating my ice cup when my friend pulled up on me. And I had him pulled in here instead of standing in the middle of the road talking to me so you would fuck with him for being in the middle of the road.
All right, step over here for me. We can go that way if you'd like. Step right here for me. All right, that's cool. Stand right there for me, please.
I didn't do anything.
Stand right there where my light is, please.
I literally stood.
Officer Devane, do me a favor. Will you switch up for me? Just hang out with him. I need to make a call. Do me a favor, sir. Just step over to that side over there for me. Like I said, nothing. Just stand with her. Make sure she doesn't go in her purse or do anything else. Well, she wants to fucking make it hard. She wants to make it hard, and we're gonna make it hard. Just do me a favor, stand over there, man, so I can see you. That's all. Hey, sorry. Shane's not answering, so I wanted to run something by you real quick. You know who Kenesha Floyd is? She's the one who always has like her hair wrapped up. She's younger. She walks around the South End a bunch. Well, she hangs out around like
you can't be sitting here
so essentially, here's what
lying,
happened.
though, when they know
I'm
who
running
you are.
through looking for something else. I see a white truck. It's got its tail light working, but it's not doing red or whatever. He pulls into 602 South Church, like the little shed next to it. Pulls it in, stops at the roadway. I go by him. He pulls in because she told him to pull in because there was cops behind him, and that's on body camera. She's leaning into the truck. Then she gets into the truck. She says she's friends with him from way back when. He doesn't stay here. He's in a crime area, known with narcotics, that's less than 100 feet away from him. Looks like he's going to be a little intoxicated, is what it is. I'm gonna sort that out after we're done. But I asked him any weapons or drugs in the vehicle. He's got some alcohol containers in there. It doesn't look like anything I'm going to do anything about. But he said if there is anything, it's going to be on her. I said where specifically? He said I asked, is it going to be on her person, her purse? He said on her person. Now I asked, and I'm going to clarify with him before I do this. I talked to her, tried to get everything out. I tried to explain, what was going on.
He's like really thorough,
that,
like motherfucker. I got to say.
Based off the three things I just said, the area and where she is staying, the common interaction that's in my training experience has to do with narcotics, and the fact that she's acting the way she's acting on questions. Do you see any problem with me doing a search of her purse? Okay, not a search, but just a cursory check in the inside, and to see, first off, evidence of any prostitution, whether there was cash exchanged, if there's condoms in there, and then also just he's completely cooperative. I mean, he's emptied out his pockets with me and has given me consent for the truck. It's her who's trying to separate herself from the situation. I got you. And if I were to get the whether it be the prostitution thing, is that enough for like a 10-15 on prostitution? I mean, I know it's only a misdemeanor, but I'm just curious where to go if he does fess up to that. I mean, if he fesses up to purchasing drugs, then I think I have everything, but the prostitution thing, I'm a little shaky on where I could go from there.
Hey, at least he asking questions.
I'll do a cursory
you
search.
Can't be mad at motherfucker trying to
just document it, and that'll be it.
Get educated. Yeah. He want to make the right
the
move.
Condition of the relationship
There might not be a whole lot he can do
staying,
here.
I asked him where's he staying tonight. Not staying here. He's going back to Daytona Beach. So this is where we're getting pretty. Listen, don't. Listen. I'm telling you right now, nothing's going to happen to you for talking to me and for explaining anything further. It's her that's going to get jammed up for whatever she's doing. But, yeah. Huh? Do you know what? I mean, but was she trying to?
Was she trying to suck your dick? That's what he's trying to ask, man. Was she trying to slang some pussy at you? That's all he's trying to ask.
You understand that if you were,
I know my situation.
I
don't need that.
Hey, all right. So, and also, I'm not saying you were, but if you were here, huh?
Last in her purse.
Yeah. But do you know what she has in the purse? Would it be crack or meth?
I know. I'm being honest with you. I know that she's crack.
She got crack in the purse. All right. That's it. But were you? Hey, listen. Let me. Before I ask you this question, if I were to ask you, hey, were you here to get a quick blowjob from this chick or have some kind of interaction with this chick, and you said yes, you are not in trouble for that.
I'm telling you straight up.
No, just here to say hi. You gonna give?
He
You gonna
said
give
if
yourself
I
about 15
asked
minutes so that
you
way
if you was here to get a quick blowjob or hook up with this chick.
All right, man.
I like that he just got to the point.
Now I'm gonna tell you. Put your purse on the floor.
What reason do you have to search me?
If you don't listen to my orders, you're gonna go to.
I have a right to refuse to be
You were gonna go to
searched.
jail for resisting. You understand?
I'm not resisting anything. I have a right to be. I have a right.
I've asked you twice.
To know what's going on.
I've asked you twice. This is the third and last time.
Can
Then
you
you're
call?
gonna go
Can you call?
I already did.
You're
more than welcome to. No, they're not here. It's just me and her tonight.
Oh, so they're not in town. This is be right to you? Is it what? This is be right to you. Can you tell me why you're searching me?
This is the third time. This is the last time.
Can you tell me? I have a right to refuse to be searched.
Okay, you can refuse. I'm telling you what you do. You're gonna put your purse down.
I have a right to refuse to be searched.
Okay. Now you're detained. Put your hands behind your back.
This is not.
Put your hands behind your back. Okay. Keep them right there.
Can you tell me why you're arresting me?
Right now you're gonna be detained.
For refusing to be
Damn. I mean, why didn't you just say? We think I suspect you have drugs in your purse. I need to go ahead and
Because you're
check.
not listening to my commands. That's why.
So because I'm not allowing you to search me, you can you please
I don't know why it was so hard to say that though.
I can
I feel
always.
you on that, lady. I feel you on that, lady.
Can you call somebody else down here? Because I don't know what he just did, but this is nonsense. He has no right to search me, no reason to detain me. I was not the
Do me a
driver.
favor. If you keep moving like that, you're gonna get hurt because these cuffs are gonna hurt you. Okay? Officer Devane, can you light this up for me, please?
Sarah, can you call the police and have them come check this dude, please? Sarah, please call the cops for me, please.
Relax your hands so I can get this properly.
Please
okay?
call the cops for me,
Relax.
please. Nigga, these are the
Relax your hands
cops.
so I can get this
You're
properly.
illegally doing this. This is
It's
not
the
legal.
cops.
And you're going to sit here and watch this bullshit?
Listen, I don't.
I did nothing. I was talking to my friend in the road. Come on, man. I wasn't even on this property. I was in the road.
Okay. Now you're under arrest
For what?
for resisting.
I'm not resisting. I'm standing
Stand right
here.
here. Okay?
I'm not resisting. I'm standing here. My hands are closed, cuffed together. I'm
This
not
shit
moving
is
at
wild.
all.
I don't know
My
why
hands
she
were cuffed
getting a
together the whole
resisting
time.
charge
Good,
too.
good.
This shit is wild. What the fuck is going on?
Come on, man. This
Yeah,
is
I feel you
nonsense.
on this shit,
Okay, do you
lady.
have anything on you right now that's gonna hurt me?
Nothing.
That's all I care about.
I
is
have a
anything
knife in my purse or my pocket.
Just leave your hands away from this.
This shit is some bullshit. I ain't gonna lie.
There, now collect all of it.
I'm just like
You've
the
been
fact that old
targeting me
boy
for a
just
while,
snitched
bro.
on
You
her.
been
Like that's
watching
the
me
only
trying to
reason
find
that they
something
got
for a
probable
while.
cause.
All you had to do is listen.
Listen, why was this?
All right, I'm not gonna talk with you
For
if
what
you're gonna
reason?
keep
For what
acting like
reason? You
that,
don't want to
okay?
fucking search
You
me.
need to let her do what she's doing, then
She,
you can
I
talk
didn't
to me.
stop with her doing what she's doing. I'm talking. That's it. That's all.
yelling.
And you already arrested me, so stop talking to me being quiet now.
Okay. That's what you want to do. Good?
I feel like she said I'm pissed off.
Over here for
Fuck
me?
you. You already arrested me, but you do have the right to remain
Officer
silent.
Vane,
You know what I'm
Can
saying?
you
And
do
you should
this for me real
definitely
quick? Just here, stand up.
invoke
Just
that
please.
right about now. Just be quiet.
Is there a reason you need that on there, ma'am? Okay, let's take this off.
Oh, that'd be so crazy if her drugs fall out of there. What if her drugs was up in her ponytail? That shit would be wild.
Get it easy.
You full of shit, bro. And I'm gonna say it.
Okay, that's all
You
right.
have no reason to you for what? Because I was sitting
I
talking to somebody.
highly encourage you to get the arrest report tomorrow, and you can look at all the reasons for what I did, okay? Take a seat right here. Would you like your seatbelt on?
Because he's gonna put it in there.
Okay, watch your feet.
Buddy
all right?
snitched on you, bitch. That's what
And this is what,
it's gonna say in the police report. The driver said that nigga Keith Jordan, that nigga said
All right, listen,
you
man.
had crack.
I'm not even going to write you out a warning for any of that stuff. You're free to go and have a good rest of your night.
Damn.
Yellow Dodge Challenger.
Yeah, man. Hey, just remember, give it. No, it's okay. He's good. It's closed. No, beer's closed, right? Yeah, go. Give yourself about 5 minutes and then take off. All right? He's good. Hey, she's going to make sure she didn't drop nothing in your truck, okay? On the passenger side.
Damn. They let Buddy smooth go. This shit is
I can't hear
wild,
you from out there.
bro.
What's that?
Those are my sisters. Can you let my sisters talk to me?
Which sisters?
Coming down the road, walking.
Right here or
No,
over on that
walking
side?
down the road on
Yeah,
the other side of the
sure.
car.
I can let him talk to you. Just give me a minute. Hello.
This shit is
Looks like your
wild.
sisters. Yeah. Okay, so I don't mind you guys talking to her, but you gotta keep it brief, and I gotta keep an eye on you while you do it. Okay? What's going on? She's under arrest right now. For what? Resisting and possession of narcotics. Okay. So I don't mind you guys talking to her. I don't have to let you, but I am trying to.
That's my sister bed right there.
What's that? That is. Yeah, it's gonna stay with her though. Okay.
Oh no.
Just do me a favor. Just stay right there. She can hear you from there. Okay.
Can you tell me when I'm in the restaurant?
Sure. Okay. It's. I'm trying to answer.
It's resisting arrest and possession of narcotics. What narcotics?
I gotta test the other stuff, and it'll be your push pipe and your pipe.
Right now, she in the back of the police truck right now.
Listen, I would rather not roll the window up. I'm trying to allow you to talk to your sisters, but you need to be constructive, not yelling about things. Okay? Is there anything else? Because we gotta keep going with what we're doing. Okay?
right here in front of him house. I'm standing in the road. I'm standing in the road. I'm on the phone with Daddy. Daddy on the phone. So they just pull it up and what? I'm standing in the road talking. I'm standing in the road. Keep it up. I'm talking again.
Yeah, everything. Yep, everything can go back in first.
Keep talking about it's a tail light out. They heard my name good.
Chief who?
Jordan. He heard my name good. Now he would have searched me because my name good. Because this same motherfucker I see you several times and had never been a mess with me. So he's searching for one.
We're right here in front of him.
They done ran me 4-5 times in the last 2 months.
Is there anything else?
My daddy coming over here.
Okay, well, we're not going to be here when he gets here, just so you know.
He's just right across the track.
I understand, but we can't wait for people. I mean, he's more than welcome to go down to the jail, and he can call. He can
Right,
call me.
this ain't about to be a family affair right here. We ain't
Okay.
about to negotiate her getting
Officer Ogden, sir, what can I do for you? I have to listen. I can't hear him if you're yelling.
Daddy,
Okay,
he
all
trying
right,
to
then that's all I can do, okay? What was that, sir? What can I do for you?
Go to officer.
She's under arrest for the things that we were talking about earlier. It's going to be, as of right now, it's for resisting arrest. Second, it's going to be for narcotic paraphernalia. And third, it'll be for the narcotics once we test it, okay?
So you got narcotics off of her?
Ma'am, would you like your sister to take your purse?
You wanted all that to go to the jail with you, or do you want to give that to your sisters?
She had narcotics on her or paraphernalia?
Both.
You have to. Okay, look. Paraphernalia is the fucking pipes and all the bullshit that you're using to get high. The narcotics is the actual drugs. Come on, keep up, lady.
Hey.
She don't understand. Oh, man.
Just chill, sis.
What's up, babe? What up, Netcoast?
All right. If there's anything else,
Exactly
what
she had.
like I said, I have to test the narcotics that we did
To know
found
what it is.
to know what it is. There's push pipes. The narcotic paraphernalia is the pipe that they use, or that someone would use to consume the narcotics. Also, she resisted by not listening to her orders. So this is all I can do for you guys right now. Here, I can give you a card. You're more than welcome to give it to her dad, and they're more than welcome to request the copy of the report. Okay.
Kilo Delta Zulu Tango 24.
Sis, just relax. Just relax, sis. I know, but you doing that is not gonna make it no better, sis.
Yeah. Oh.
While the officer said she was going to get charged with narcotics
got.
possession, she only ended up getting charged with 2 misdemeanors, one for the resisting and one for the paraphernalia possession. The case ended up being pretty simple. About 12 hours after she was booked into jail, she made her first appearance in court. There, the judge decided to release her on her own recognizance, meaning she didn't have to pay any money to get out of jail.
So
About a month
signature
after
bond.
that, the prosecutors filed a motion saying they weren't going to prosecute the case. Now, if you like
it
this
was a
video,
waste of time.
please consider subscribing. It helps me out a ton, and I post exclusive body cam footage like this every week. And if
Yeah, that shit was just a waste of time. That's what that was. That was a waste of time. Waste of time. Waste of time. Yeah, the prosecutor was like, man, why you bring this shit to us, man? We don't want to fucking do this shit. This is some bullshit. We don't want to. Why you bring this bullshit to us, man? Why you pick her up? This is some bullshit. All right, we're gonna watch this last little wanted criminal escapes from the police in the worst possible way, or worst way possible. All right, it's a quick one, and then
November
call it a
2nd,
night
2022, an officer observed a male driver with an active felony warrant in Warren, Ohio. The male was identified as 39-year-old Lamar Mitchell. A traffic stop was attempted on Lamar, but he refused to pull over and took off from police.
I'm trying to flip around on him.
Oh, I think we saw this shit.
I think that might be him.
Oh yeah, we saw this shit. Oh, we could watch a different one. We watched this shit on the last live. It just didn't update to say that we watched it. We definitely watched that one. So we gotta find a different one. Fuck that. We ain't gonna watch that shit again. You know what I'm saying? We ain't gonna watch that shit again. I ain't gonna cheat y'all like that. You know what I'm saying? Where's that audit to audit? Let's see if there's a new. Nah, I don't want to be fucking preached to right now. Audit to audits are dope, but I ain't feeling that. Traffic stop leads to a gun and drug charges. Why you can't camp out in the city attorney's front yard? Why is she camping out in the? Let's watch that. Why is she camping out in the fucking city attorney's front yard?
Or you could say your pronoun. I don't want to insult you.
It's all good.
Okay. Hey, take a deep breath. We're gonna figure this out, all right? So what pronoun?
Y'all ready for this shit?
On August 28th, 2022, at approximately 6:15 p.m., officers with the Columbus Division of Police were dispatched to the home of Columbus City Attorney Zach Klein
Shout out to Nugget.
on a call about people camping in his front yard.
I would like to request a police cruiser in Clintonville on Zach Klein's house. There are peaceful protesters there, but they've set up literally, and there goes a cruiser. They've literally set up a camp in his front yard on his personal property.
The officers arrived on scene and advised the
fucking hell of a way
protesters
to
that they
protest,
were
I guess.
trespassing on private property
They said
and were
we gonna
subject
set
to
up in your
arrest.
front yard, nigga.
After
like,
several attempts to get the protesters to leave,
fucking
the officers were left with no
trespassing, for
choice
real.
but to place them under arrest. 3 individuals were arrested, 2 were slated at Jackson Pike, and 1 of them was eventually transported to a hospital. So with all that being said, I hope you enjoyed today's video. I
Why
hope you
would we
learned
need
something.
to go to the hospital.
I'll talk to you soon.
Hello. Is there somebody who's in charge of the tent?
Yeah, gang. Shout out to you.
Is there
Nugget.
somebody who's in charge who owns that tent? Is it yours? No? Is it one of yours? Is that your tent, sir? Is it yours? Is anybody claiming ownership of this tent?
I'm the police liaison.
Okay.
So if you want to speak to any of them or anything you want to tell them, you can talk to me.
Okay.
So the protesters are here right now because of the sweep happening on East Mound Street.
Okay.
So there are some demands.
Okay, that's fine. So here's the thing.
Fuck. What? And so there are some demands. What the man? Fuck you and your demands right now. Them demands don't mean shit when you over here putting up tents on people's fucking personal yards and shit. Fuck.
Property owner doesn't
What
want them
you
on their
saying to
property,
me?
okay?
Okay.
I mean, I guess you're trying to get your point across, but
Trespass
damn.
notice. I'll talk to you because you say that you're the liaison to them. If you could tell them, they can just move right over to this piece of grass right here. That's public property, okay? But the property owner of this particular address no longer wants them on their property, all right?
Hi, they want you guys to move to the other side of the grass.
Would you like me to talk to them?
I'll go and talk to
Okay.
They're not talking to you. They're not even listening to you. What do you mean?
Can you tell them that they are subject to arrest if they don't?
It's not a request, it's an order. They have to go over there.
So they're
and
saying
leave.
that it's in order and
They heard.
Or they're going to be placed under arrest.
The property owner does not want them on their property.
they're saying that
Oh my god, damn. What the fuck is going on?
owner is saying that they do not want for you guys.
Just say it. Spit it out since you feel so
on their property.
Fucking like compelled
You
to
can-
be this
we have-
liaison and shit. Like, just say it.
We have no
bitch.
problem with you guys protesting, but this is currently private property that you reside on, okay? So you have to move somewhere that's public, all right? Because the property owner does not want you on their property. You are subject to arrest if you don't comply, all right?
Right.
That's it. You guys can just move right
Simple.
over. That piece of grass over there is public property. It's a public park, and you're legally allowed to be there until 11 p.m. Okay?
They might just need some time to like start like getting up and everything.
Well, they're not moving. That's the problem. So they're just completely ignoring our commands. So they're not complying. So they need to start getting up, getting their stuff, and going over to a different side, going over to the public property over there. Okay?
Yeah, and like now, bitch. Like, what do you mean?
For everybody inside the tent, we need you guys to get up.
They'll only.
We need you guys to get up.
Everything that you're saying right now.
We need you guys to start getting up and start packing up your property.
Supposed to be
Well,
acting as their communication.
I understand that,
I'm the
but
police liaison.
they're not listening to you, so I'm going to talk to them directly in hopes they listen to me to avoid an arrest, because we don't want to arrest them. We want them to obey the law and leave this
move.
property.
They are being very patient right now. Holy
So anything
shit.
you want to tell them, tell me, and I will tell them.
And we have. We've already explained it to you, and they're not listening to you.
Right.
Is what I'm saying.
So like I said before, if there is anything that you want to tell them, you can talk to me, and I will say it to them.
Okay.
So is there anything that you want to tell them right now for me to
They
tell
need to leave or they're going to be placed under arrest.
You guys have been told by the other officer that you are being told.
Why is she talking
that
like a fucking
you must
robot? Holy shit.
Or else you must go because you are going to be
Arrested.
placed under arrest.
Thank you.
Okay.
Are you planning on listening at any point, or are you
Is
gonna
there
refuse?
anything that you want to ask them? You can ask me, and I
Ask
will.
them if they're going to comply, if they're going to refuse. Please.
Right. They aren't, they don't like,
comply or
what the
refuse with what, sir?
fuck is
The
going
order to leave the property.
Oh.
Hi. Are you
Holy
guys?
yeah.
Are you guys going to?
Why does she like break? She's like breaking. She's like malfunctioning. She when she has so much like emphasis and she can like put words together and make complete sentences. Like you know what I'm saying? Like when the cops are talking to her, but as soon as she starts talking to the protesters, it's like are you guys are you guys going to start getting up? Yeah. Oh, you are? Okay. And then she like what the fuck? I'm like, my brain cells are fucking malfunctioning now. Like the fuck? This bitch fucking develops like a whole fucking Tourette's or some shit, like for just a brief moment. Like, what the fuck is going on?
Get off of the property.
What the fuck is going on?
They didn't answer you. They did not answer you. So what are they going to do then? Are they going to leave or are they going to comply and move over here to this property?
Again, I have been told to ask you guys if you're going to be leaving, or if there is anything that you guys need. Do you guys
What?
need time? Is there anything?
What? That's not what the fuck he said. What?
That might better communicate with me. Maybe if like you guys just step
No,
back
that's
and
not
give
an
us 3
option.
minutes.
That's not an option. So here's the deal. This is your last warning, final warning. You must get up. You must start vacating the property, or you're going to be placed under arrest.
So, like I said before,
Yeah,
the
you're
time
about
that
to
we
be
stay
under
on,
arrest
and
too.
they're
We
not
don't
listening
give
to
a
you. I
fuck
need you to
what
stand
you
over
talking
there.
about.
This is going
You're
to
done
you too,
now.
okay? This
You're
is
done.
private property. You have
Yeah.
to leave. I need you to
Bye.
stand over there for me.
Bye.
Okay?
Bye. Bye.
as I said before,
Ma'am.
any warning
Ma'am.
that you give them that is not
I'm warning
pertinent
you.
to me,
I'm warning you right now.
they're not going to listen.
They're not listening
going
to you
act
anyway.
Like nothing is going on
They're
because
not listening
I am the
to you
police
anyway.
liaison.
They're not listening to you anyway,
So
is
can
what
you
I'm
tell
trying to
me the
explain.
warning again so I can go tell them?
I've already
and then-
explained it, and they're not listening to you. So what I need you to do to avoid you being arrested is I need you to go stand over there and get
Yeah,
off of
'cause
private
you're
property.
stupid.
Once
You're
again,
bad
the
at
homeowner
this.
here does not want you on their property.
Yeah,
Okay?
you're just as
I need you
done
personally
with this.
to go
Go
over there
away.
and stand, or you're going to be placed under arrest.
Bye. 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 Bye.
As I said before, because I am the
Keep an eye on
police
them,
liaison,
real quick.
any warning that you guys just said right now will not be heard by them. So the last warning that you just said, because you did not talk to me first for me to tell them.
We already talked to you, and they're not listening
But
to you.
you did not. That warning you just said.
Just arrest
didn't
her
talk to them.
stupid ass.
You
Tell her to shut up.
Okay, this is your last chance. If you do not get up and start moving your stuff over to public property, you're going to be placed under arrest. Okay, all three of you are now under arrest for criminal trespassing.
This is so bad. Oh man.
You didn't stand up. Come on up.
Wash your hands together for
That
me,
was,
buddy.
that was the dumbest shit. You could have
Thank you.
legit went across the street,
It's over here.
across the alley.
Thank you.
It ain't
You
even
go down
across
here,
the
buddy, all right?
street. It's across the alley.
Do me a favor. Interlock
You
your
would
fingers
be
together for
just
me.
as
Please
much
stand
of a
here, okay?
fucking eyesore across the
Appreciate
alley
your
as you were
cooperation in
on
this
the front
situation.
yard. Like,
You
fuck
swing
out
your
of
arms
here.
back a little. I don't want to hurt you with the cuffs. Now, bring them away from your body, buddy. Thank you. It's not too tight, right, man? Okay. Do you identify as sir, ma'am? Or you could say your pronoun. I don't want to insult you.
It's all good.
Okay. Hey, take a deep breath. We're gonna figure this out, all right? So what pronoun? So I can address you, or
Whichever's fine.
Okay, okay. So I'll go with sir. Okay. I'm gonna need to get some information from you, and we'll go from there. Okay. Okay. I'm gonna try and be as cool as I can with you. Again, this is the situation. We're gonna sort it out. All right. Okay. Let's go over here by that telephone pole to Cruiser 32. Okay. Thank you.
Is this motherfucker in a wheelchair?
You didn't stand up. Come on out.
Oh, there's just a different angle, different body cam from the same.
Let's go. Come on. Let's go.
Yeah, I think one of the dudes is in a wheelchair for real. How do you arrest a motherfucker in a wheelchair? How does that work? Is that even possible to arrest somebody in a wheelchair? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not trying to like make a joke of that, but like, I've never seen that before. Like, how do you actually arrest somebody in a wheelchair? Like, you know what I mean? Especially when it's not like a traditional wheelchair where like you could just sit them in the car and then fold that shit up, throw it in the back of the, police cruiser. I guess you'd have to like call like one of the vans or whatever. That's just crazy. I never even thought about that. Like, how would you arrest somebody in a wheelchair? Like, that's a crazy ass like a question in my opinion. I never thought about that shit. Like if this nigga just don't want to move, like how do you make him move? You know what I mean? How do you just make this motherfucker move? Because you can't just like
wheelchair last.
pick him up and throw him on the ground or nothing. Like, that's not okay. I'm just saying. I just never thought about that. Like, I ain't trying to offend nobody or nothing. I just thought that was interesting since we're now faced with this scenario and all. That was never a scenario I ever had thought to be a scenario in my life. So
Okay, sir, ma'am.
never thought about that.
Is it broke?
Yeah.
Okay, how are we going to move your wheelchair? Can you just talk to us so we can do this the easy way? I'm just trying to, how can we move your wheelchair out of here the safest way possible?
Right. See what I'm saying? Look.
Can you help?
My very fucking question is now being answered. The cops don't even know. Like, this is some shit that doesn't happen very often. Like, this shit don't happen ever, apparently, because they don't have fucking protocols for this shit.
Answer that question the safest way possible so you don't get injured when we're trying to take the wheelchair out.
Ah, damn. I never thought that shit was a fucking...
All right, handcuff
I'm
in the front
just
for
saying,
now.
man.
Until we get
Golly.
medic. Yeah, we're probably gonna need one. See if they can help us out with the transport.
See? Okay, they gotta call an ambulance in to transport her. Or him, or... whatever the fuck I don't know what her pronoun, or his pronoun, or whatever the fuck pronoun that these people are going by, because even the cops were confused about it, because when they opened up the damn tent to get into this person, they was like, hello, ma'am, sir, or sir, ma'am, or whatever the fuck he said. And then the other people they pulled out, like, they kind of did the same shit where it was like, I don't know what to call you, but whatever you want to be called, just let me know so I know how to address you.
Okay.
And since she ain't talking, or this person isn't talking, I don't know what the proper pronunciation
Taking your purse
or pronoun
off your-
is to address this
Going
person.
to check it for weapons.
Pretty sure it's a dude biologically, though, because it
Actually,
looks like
this
there's an Adam's apple. But I'm not 100% sure because the camera
Can we
is a
push
little
that down?
off.
Can we push that down?
The bottom of the tent, step on it. Watch your head. There you go.
All right, can you guys get it the rest of the way?
Yep. Would you help me?
There we go.
Not a good driver.
All right.
Take it
This shit is wild, bro.
Get it? 5-3. 5-3.
Take it that direction.
Look, even the jail didn't know what the fuck to do with with the person. They was like, nigga, why did you just bring her to us? What are we gonna shit? Like, no, we already overcrowded and shit. Nigga, that chair got a charge and shit, nigga. We ain't got plugs like that, nigga. You gonna blow the circuits in this bitch. We can't charge that shit. Fuck out of here. Take her back to the hospital. This shit crazy, bro. That shit crazy. Oh, man.
All right. Flat ground. We don't have anywhere to put her yet.
She brought her own seat.
Identify as he or she.
Oh, bruh.
Okay.
Look, there's so many spectators like, what the fuck, nigga? They're like, how they gonna do this? Everybody was curious how they was gonna make that happen. Anyways, man, I love you guys. We had a nice, cool, chillaxing ass live and shit. I appreciate y'all. Y'all have a great Thanksgiving as well. Have, so much fun with the peoples, with the fam. Enjoy yourselves. eat a bunch of food. You know what I'm saying? Indulge, have a good time. Just, you know, enjoy yourself. Have a good time. I said that shit like 3-4 times, but 'cause I mean it. I meant it. And yeah, I appreciate y'all for hanging out with your boy, and I will catch you guys. I'm gonna do some reactions in the morning. So yeah, I'll have some shit for y'all. You know what I'm saying? For y'all, I'll have some for y'all tomorrow, reaction wise. And then otherwise, we'll be back on Friday for a live, like always. And yeah, I'll catch y'all later. I love y'all. Happy holidays. Peace. Oops, now I'm recording. I don't need to record.